Well, good evening, everybody. Before we call the meeting to order, we'll start out with our pledge of allegiance, and also a prayer led by Trustee Freeman.
Almighty and merciful God, we ask your guidance and blessings upon this board, students, parents, patrons, teachers, and administrators as we are assembled here this evening in the common pursuit of this great nation's wealth, our children. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the
Texas.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, good evening, everybody. I hear a little bit of rattling that'll come from our recognition when we get to our students part. Looking forward to tonight's meeting where we have the opportunity to not only do our recognitions, we've got our new trustees and some agenda items also that we'll be covering. So once again, this is a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees, and I'd like to take just a few moments before I actually call the meeting officially to order to review some of the rules for conducting our meeting. Now, the order of business is set out in the agenda, and one item that you may notice is the consent agenda. And this includes items that are considered routine and or of a recurring nature. All these items listed on the consent agenda will be acted upon in one motion. If there's a consent agenda item which anyone would like to address, please sign up to speak the item and we'll pull it from the motion and discuss that one separately. Now, the purpose of this meeting is to conduct board business, and for that reason, it is held in public. It is not a public forum. However, we do provide the opportunity for audience participation. If there's anyone here that wants to address the board regarding citizens to be heard or one of our agenda items, we ask that you complete that sign-up sheet prior to starting our meeting. If there's anyone here that did want that opportunity, didn't get a chance to sign up yet? Okay, good. And this is important. That way we don't overlook anybody that may want to speak to our board. Well, if we get to that item, we do have some citizens that had to be signed up, and what we'll do is review the rules for that portion when we get to those particular items during our citizens to be heard portion. Okay, so once again, thank you all for attending, and we'll turn it over to our world famous Superintendent, Dr. Kraft.
I don't know about world famous, hardly. Well, it's just an exciting time of year as we prepare to graduate a little over 7,000 seniors next week. We've got a few groups that we'd like to make sure that we celebrate with before we adjourn for the school year here in just a couple of days. So our students are smiling, so that must mean that you're closing in on the end of semester exams this semester. But the medals clanking, we used to always say, hey, that's the sound of success. So without further ado, Barry Perez, I believe, is going to kick us off. And like I say, we've got several groups that we're going to recognize. We're going to once again take photos around the left side of the dais. So if I could ask the trustees to join me in front while we, like I say, recognize some very, very worthy students this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Kraft. My name is Barry Pettis, Assistant Superintendent for Communications, and I'm thrilled to be honoring some outstanding students this evening, along with some equally amazing staff. A few instructions as trustees find their way in front of the dais. So students, when you sat down, there was a name card that you should have seen. I'm going to remind you that when your group comes up, we do need you to bring that name card. You're going to step to my left, hand me the name card so that I can call your name. You're going to circle to the front, greet the trustees, and then return to your seat. If you are a parent or here to honor your child as they come up, please know that we are going to move by groups. So we'll announce the groups, and parents, if you'd like to come up and snap a quick picture, certainly you can. We are going to move pretty quickly, though, through the names. Honorees, a certificate was placed on your seat. You're welcome to bring that certificate up with you, or you can leave it there so that it's there when you return to your seat. So we're going to begin this evening, trustees, with a group that you've seen before. This is a recognition of Warren High School's ACDEC team, and just last month, They were here. You've met them individually, but they're back again now tonight as national winners. The Warren High School Academic Decathlon team won first place at the state finals and advanced to the national competition. The national competition was held in Des Moines, Iowa. This year's theme was Our Changing Climate. And we are proud to announce that the Warren High School academic team placed third in the nation. You've met them individually, so rather than have them reintroduce themselves, we're going to have them come up as a group, and they'll be joined by their coaches, Joseph Bayona and Angel Santa Cruz. So at this time, if the Warren High School ACDEC team could join us in the front with the trustees for a group photo.
You can make all the noise you want. I love it. Yeah, go for it. Great job.
We'll put you guys in the middle. Yeah. We'll put y'all close over here. Yeah, so we take a photo.
We're good? Thank y'all. Congratulations. We will now move on to recognition of track and field state qualifiers. At this time, we are proud to recognize our outstanding student athletes who have qualified for the state track and field meet. Their dedication, hard work, and perseverance have earned them a spot among the best in the state. Let's welcome them now as they come forward individually to be recognized by our trustees. We will begin. We're going to begin with Kayla Lyons from Brennan High School. From Harlan High School, G. Ivory Graham. From Harlan High School, Anthony Duorjae. From Harlan High School, Aiden Aleman. From John Jay High School, Shinice Davis. Daniela Shelfo. From Warren High School, Sienna Lotta. From Brandeis High School, Ben Teeler.
Oh, you just get to shake our hands.
Those are our track and field state qualifiers. Let's give them a hand and their coaches. If their coaches would please stand. Yeah, so their coaches here? Thank y'all. And now the recognition of 2025 state swimming and diving finalists. Each year in swimming and diving, the top 6 individual swimmers and relay teams from each of the 32 district meets advance to one of 8 regional meets. From there, the top 2 finishers in each event at regionals move on to the state meet, along with the next 8 fastest times statewide, creating a field of 24 competitors per event at state. However, only the top 16 performers from day 1 qualify for the finals on day 2. The athletes and relay teams recognized here tonight, joined by their coaches, are our Northside competitors who advanced to the finals at this year's state swimming and diving meet. We begin from Brandeis High School, Patrick Maldonado. From Brandeis High School, Lily Glasgow. From Brandeis High School, Camila Flores. From Brandeis High School, Addie Wilson. From Brandeis High School, Kendall Sweeney. From Brandeis High School, Parker Birch. Tia Babes, also from Brandeis High School. And Alexa Hutchinson. Okay, if we can get you back, we'll do a group picture. And do we have coaches with this group as well?
No, sir, that's sir. I didn't do anything.
Our final group this evening is a recognition of our student ambassadors. This school year, Northside ISD introduced an exciting new initiative aimed at amplifying student voices within our communications. The Northside ISD Student Ambassadors Program brings together a select group of students chosen through a rigorous application process to become the face and voice of the district. Facilitated by the Communications Department, specifically Kaylee Losa and Monica Falkenberry, these ambassadors assisted with public relations and communications, representing NISD at school and community events while working alongside NISD board members and the district's executive leadership team. Ambassadors gained valuable leadership experience, enhanced communication skills, and positively promoted NISD by engaging with students, families, staff, and the broader community. Tonight, although we will say goodbye to our seniors, we are happy to announce that all of the juniors have signed on for another year. And we have selected a number of new ambassadors who will be joining them this coming school year. At this time, I'll call up those who will be returning next year and thank them for their service for this school year, followed then, of course, by our graduating seniors who will follow. From Sotomayor High School, Jermaine Anyawu. From Castich High School, Jocelyn Camacho Hernandez. From Sotomayor High School, Riham Altahir. From JSEA, Brian Gonzalez. From O'Connor High School, Chloe Gitron. From Clark High School, Jillian Jones. Representing Harlan High School, Emma Mills. From Cast Teach High School, Olivia Rosas. From Taft High School, Alexandria Parada. From Health Careers High School, Avani Nagageri. Those are our junior student ambassadors. They will be returning next year. So we want to get a group photo with our juniors who are returning. I'll have you come back in front, please.
Ryan, you're with us.
Joining the group from Health Careers High School, Brian Udam. Thank you, juniors. We'll see you next year. Now, trustees, the following are our graduating seniors. They are receiving a leadership cord for their participation in the Student Ambassador Program here in about a week at their graduation. We'll begin from Marshall High School, Ryan Almanza. From Harlan High School, Abigail Alvarado. From Marshall LMS, Serena Cardona. From Health Careers High School, Christopher Fuentes. From Clark High School, Brianna Hunt. From Jay High School, Leah Joyner. From Holmes High School, Chloe Martinez. From O'Connor High School, Asta Dominic Mireles. From Holmes High School, Reynaldo Perez. From Jay High School, Christopher Pinedo. From Brennan High School, Olivia White. And wrapping up this senior group, from Insight, Tien Vu.
We got a lot of horns in the house.
We do.
All right, if we can get a photo with our seniors. And can we get their two communications department sponsors, Monica and Kaylee Losa? I think they should join them in the photo. Trustees, that concludes our student recognitions, but as we always do, we think it's very, very important that we recognize the family members who have supported these students. If you are a family member here recognizing, would you please stand to be recognized by your children? Dr. Kraft, Mr. Blunt, that concludes our recognitions.
All right. If y'all give us a few more minutes, and then we'll sort of say, okay, when it's a good point to leave. But let me see if any trustees have any comments or remarks that they want to make to those that we recognize. Good.
We want to thank all of you for all your hard work, and we want to wish you the best on your next journey, wherever that may lead you, whether you're going to college, vocational school, or you taking a year off and doing some missionary work. Wherever that takes you, let us know. Continue to get connected with Northside and come back and tell your story. Quiero agradecer a todos los padres que estén aquí presentes por ayudar a sus hijos a lograr esta meta de graduarse, y le quiero desear la mejor suerte del mundo a todos, ya sea que vayan a la universidad, al colegio o que se tomen un año de servicio a la comunidad. Muchísima suerte and good luck to all of you.
Good, thank you, sir.
I just wanted to say something very quickly to the seniors that are leaving. One thing about Northside, I think you'll find out, is that you can always come home, and we are family, and we will be here to help you with anything that you need. And wherever you go, please, please, please take care of yourself, and don't forget to ask for help. It is a sign of courage and bravery to ask for help, and there's a lot of newness out there. Junior to senior year, oh my gosh, you are going to enjoy it. So my advice to you is just to take it slow, to notice everything, pay attention, and take a lot of deep breaths. But congratulations, like Dr. Duran said, it took a lot of hard work, and you guys are the real deal. So thank you for being here. Parents, mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, thank you for supporting them so much too. Good luck.
Yeah, just once again, congratulations to everyone. This is just another chapter. You got a lot more chapters to go. Congratulations.
And to our juniors, thank you so much for your hard work. We're so very proud of you, and we look forward to seeing you next year. And to our seniors, congratulations. Thanks for all that you do. You make us proud. All of you make us proud. And so thank you for doing that. And best of luck in what you decide to do next year.
Good. And I'll just quickly add, because fellow trustees have stated so well, but the sacrifice in the case of athletics, the injuries, the time that you put in, for the coaches, those extra efforts and nights, I know that you had to work hard to study to figure out how to make your athletes the best they could be, and the sacrifices also from the family, and we thank each and every one of you, and wish you future success. I just want to add one other thing. We take great pride As we talk to fellow districts, I can't say anything like we talk trash or anything, that wouldn't be appropriate to say, but we do. And man, Northside has really been on the map the last couple of years, and it's great to see the success. So thank you all. Thank you once again. And
If I may,
I'm sorry.
I just want to add congratulations to our seniors. We are so very proud of you. This is really a culmination of as we prepare for commencement ceremonies. This is a culmination of tremendous academic and extracurricular success, and you have set the bar incredibly high for yourselves. Again, thank you to our coaches, our sponsors, because we know without their support, you probably wouldn't be in the position to be as successful as you are. And we are, like I say, so excited to our juniors and underclassmen. Keep working hard. You truly are the example that we want all of our students to emulate across Northside. So thank you for your hard work. Great job, and enjoy your summer. 2 more days. You're almost there. 2 more days. Thank you again.
So if you can, this will be our sort of underneath our column of recognition, our last item, and hopefully everybody can stay for this one. It is an honor to be able to have 2 new trustees, or 4 trustees, I should say officially. They're going to receive the oath tonight. And Judge Harrell, who's been a long-term, not only success within the judiciary, but a long-term support of what we do in education as a whole. So it's an honor to have him here tonight to administer those oaths. So we're going to start that process, and we'll have 4 trustees that are taking the oath. And if y'all, one other thing we should recognize about Judge Harrell, which will get me in trouble, but today is his birthday. So it's a very... So thank you, Judge Harrell. No better way to celebrate than this, our big group we have here.
It's okay. We know the feeling. We'll be doing this 13 times here in the very near future with graduation regalia.
All right, actually, I really can't think of a better way to celebrate my birthday, which I no longer count. So if I may, I'm just gonna call these folks up in the order that it was given to me. And let me start off by congratulating each and every one of them. And I'll congratulate them after they're sworn in, but just for their efforts in being elected, congratulations and welcome. First one I have is Lauren Zapata.
Closer. Very nice.
All right, if you raise your right hand for me, please. I, please state your name,
Laura Zapata.
do solemnly swear.
Do-
You're gonna repeat everything I say. We're gonna start over and I'm gonna break it down even.
Sorry about that. I,
Please state your name,
Laura Zapata,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Northside Independent School District,
of Northside Independent School District,
Board of Trustees,
Board of Trustees,
District 2
District 2
of the State of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I say all of you. Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah, you know it.
Welcome, welcome.
How you going back? 'Cause of the-
Also joining me up here, please.
Like, a little shorter here.
We got the drill done
I mean, we could still.
now. You went to school. Right? Okay, please raise your right hand. I, please state your name.
I, Sonia Hasso,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
that
I will faithfully execute
I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Northside Independent School District,
of Northside Independent School District,
Board of Trustees,
Board of Trustees,
District
Dis-
5.
District 2. It's District 2.
I can only work with District 2,
District 2
the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you get a chance to sign that? Karen Freeman, please.
It's a legal.
Right?
You raise your right hand for me, please. I, please state your name.
I, Karen Freeman,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Northside Independent School District,
of Northside Independent School District,
Board of Trustees,
Board of Trustees,
District 7
District 7
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks. Thanks, Laura.
Your turn.
You guys might not know this one. Please join me, Carol Harlow. And I'm fairly confident I do know the district number on this one.
You better.
Please raise your right hand. I, please state your name,
I, Carol Harrell,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties
the duties
of the office of
the office of
Northside Independent School District,
Northside Independent School District,
Board of Trustees,
Board of Trustees,
District 6
District 6
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Congratulations, everybody, and y'all can correct me later, whatever I messed up. Take care.
Way to go, sweetie. Oh, Robbie.
That's fine, okay.
They're gonna get laptops.
Yeah, no, yeah. So let me first of all, let me thank you all for staying in attendance. As you all can tell, the formality of this process is extremely important. It's something that all of us elected officials, it just sort of connects to us in terms of taking that commitment, not only to further education, but to defend our Constitution and to do what is right for our country, et cetera. So it's very significant to see the oath. And thank you, Judge Harrell, once again for doing that for us. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate, and boys and girls, congratulate our new Northside ISD board. So what we'll do to give you all a little time to escape, and we got a couple of setup items. Our meeting is going to continue, but we'll take just a couple of minutes for those that cannot stay for the whole meeting to go ahead and enjoy the rest of your evening. And board members, let's just get a real quick setup, and we'll be ready to go.
I think most of our students have exams, so
do they?
they're probably going to exit stage left.
Oh, that's right. 'Cause then
They're taking finals right now. Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday. Got. Oh, Dr. Kraft.
Yes.
What's up? Yeah.
Dr. Kraft?
Hey, Ray.
It's nice.
Can we get a little bit of air?
I know everybody's thinking it's hot because it's not like it. I
Okay.
feel comfortable, so I know everybody else has got to be burning up. Man, they got out of here fast. That's the fastest exit I've ever seen. We're about almost ready, y'all. We'll go ahead and get set up for our next group. All right, David. question that Karen mentioned also. She was asking us a question. Did we miss it in the past, or was something new? It's a new law. Okay, good, good, that's all. Okay.
It is, yes.
Oh, did you, I wonder if we should, oh, that's okay. Fix it next time.
I've got double the stuff. Yes. Oh yeah. I was like, I feel like these belong to someone after they're
Did you have
signed.
anything to sign to? I got one.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. I had something too, I don't know what it was. Certified agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't done that. Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Just you or both of them?
No, this one just me. Okay.
The minute of the consent agenda, you just sign.
You won't give in.
What is this? Oh, okay, all right. Okay, all right. You got everybody? Oh, now what do we do? Okay.
Oh, because you're not, yeah. I should get them to my husband. You're right. I can't get out too well.
All right, I think we're all set. Congratulations again, and we'll go ahead and welcome, and we'll start out our agenda, and we'll start out on item number 3, our public notice.
Yes, sir. We're actually required to post this notice when we have a tax attorney representation. And so this is a formality. It's required through new legislation. I'll let Megan try to answer any questions that you may have. But like I said, we needed to have this posted to an agenda as it's an item that we'll be visiting here just a couple more agenda items.
Yes, sir. This is a requirement when we have a contingent fee attorney agreement on the docket, and we do under consent agenda item D.
Okay, any comments or questions? This one is just scheduled for information. All right, no comments or questions. We're ready to go into our superintendent's report.
Yes, sir. It's a busy time of year, but it's an exciting time of year. Hope first and foremost that everyone had a nice Memorial Day weekend. I think it's always important that through our calendar, but also through our recognition ceremonies and celebrations across the district to recognize those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice to defend the freedoms that we have so come to enjoy as a free nation. We've got 2 days of instruction left, and it's in the books. The 24-25 school year is coming quickly to a close. It's hard to believe. Just as a reminder, we will be kicking off graduations this Thursday at the Northside Activity Center. Sports gym. We're at the Northside Activity Center.
Used to be here.
You'd think after 2 years that I'd have my locations somewhat down. Sports gym at 6:30, and then of course next week, Tuesday, we'll start the graduations with our comprehensive and magnet school programs. So if you have any questions, any needs for regalia, just let us know. Like I say, I think that you should have those schedules by now. We'll be graduating, and this is the exciting part of the year. We'll be graduating a little over 7,000 seniors from our high schools this year. So it will be a very festive 4 days next week at the Alamo Dome. Really enjoyed having the opportunity to be a part of the judging of our HEB Excellence in Education Awards. Dr. Harrell, I know that you had the opportunity, I think, to be part of the school board judging. I had the less than 10 years of experience teachers, and it's just, like I explained to Jill, it's just so reinvigorating, like I say, to visit with the teachers that are really doing so much across the state of Texas. And it was a great award banquet. And again, congratulations to our Northside Educators in Excellence. They are phenomenal individuals as well, as you can imagine. We had the opportunity to recognize our ASTA FFA award winners this year. Ms. Freeman, I know, was at that banquet on the 15th, and it was a packed house. We had it, like I say, at the facility, multi-use, multi-purpose facility, and it was overflowing. In fact, the students were scrambling to put more chairs out and like I say, I appreciate those that donate scholarships to our FFA awardees, seniors. I think that they awarded a little bit over $1 million in scholarships as a result of the Garlock Show, as well as the scholarship endeavors, which is pretty phenomenal. Again, thanks to all those that joined us at the Northside Education Foundation Fun Run on the 17th. Dr. Duran, Dr. Harrell. It was another great event. We actually had over 2,600 participants. We overrun, no pun intended, overran Northwest Vista College. They are, like I say, just tremendous partners in our efforts. Not only with the fun run and it just being a really phenomenal site, but also, like I say, with all the dual credit programming that they support us with and have to offer. And so, again, thanks to all those that came out to support NEF, and it was a great event. The weather held out. It was a little humid, but it was really a great event. So again, thank you to Terry Diaz and our Education Foundation board members for their efforts as well. And of course, it's always special to celebrate with our retirees and our service year recipients. This was held just last week at our sports gym. And again, thank you to the trustees that were able to attend and celebrate with particularly our service awards. I give our retirees a hard time. It's hard for me to celebrate with our retirees without trying to beg them to come back to work. But it was really a neat event. This was the first year that we held it at the sports gym, obviously. And I thought the venue worked out really pretty nicely. It provided a little bit more elbow room. Families were able to actually sit. For those that are not familiar, we've had this at the Brandeis High School, or a high school auditorium. And I think we've outgrown our high school auditoriums for this particular venue. And it was great to recognize our retirees at the front of the ceremony. Not to say that our service year, I figured that might be coming. Not to mention our service year recipients aren't as equally important, but we wanted to represent or recognize our retirees. And then again, thanks for Ms. Freeman, Dr. Harrell, Mr. Blunt. Thank you all for coming to our last student voice meeting. It was kind of bittersweet, but this was again another just phenomenal group of seniors, and we'll get to see them one more time as we're handing them their diploma here next week. But it was a great group, and again, just so appreciative of the campuses supporting our student voice. And like I say, won't be long, and we'll be bringing in indoctrinating the next group. That's probably not a good word. We're inducting the next group of seniors next year. It's been a busy time period in Austin. I know we'll talk about House Bill 2, or the committee substitute to House Bill 2, as it pertains to funding and the quote unquote historic $8.5 billion investment. We're also keeping a close eye on House Bill 4, which is really the revamping of the accountability system and suspension of STAR testing, moving to a 3-year assessment. I anticipate that to gain some traction and start moving this week, as well as House Bill 6, which is really reforming some of the disciplinary procedures, particularly mandatory DAEP vape placements. And then the homestead exemption being raised from $100,000 to $140,000 per household did pass, and so that's on the governor's desk waiting to be signed. So this is really the last week as we look at wrapping up sine die the 89th legislative session. And it's hard to believe, but really, if anything has not gotten through the House floor by Thursday, there's not a strong likelihood that it has a chance to move beyond that point. So more to come in that regard. And like I say, we'll dig into the committee substitute CS House Bill 2 as we discuss budget process here in just a few minutes. And with that being said, that concludes my report. Again, we're really looking forward to next week and graduation ceremonies.
Good. All right. Any questions for Trustee Kraft? No, not that part yet. Yeah, I'll get you first on the next part. Yeah.
One question real quick. I was trying to listen to Senate Bill 13. Did it go all the way through the library one, because it has implications for trustees. And it was going, and it sounded like they were passing it, but then there was gonna be an amendment.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it getting through or over to the public ed house. I need to double check that. Janice, I don't know if you're tracking it or not. This was the one that had the mandatory training in the event that there were, I want to say 3 or 4 appeals, maybe 5 appeals. I don't believe that it has gotten through the House Committee of Public Ed, but we'll double
I
check.
didn't realize they were meeting on Monday.
Oh, they met all weekend.
They did. I mean, it
Yeah.
just kept going, so.
Yeah.
I thought they'd at least take a break on Monday.
No, this is that time of the year or in this session that, if, like I say, it's pretty busy, and of course they were both meeting all day today.
And I'll also just add, on the graduations, so Monica's got if we can let Monica know, correct, Monica? We're gonna put together a list of the graduations everybody's gonna be attending. So if you can let her know, that way we can sort of compile and have that information. That's very helpful to know up front. So just she'll have a list, but let Monica know which ones you'll be able to attend.
Yeah, it'll be really helpful this year, like I say, when we line out speaking pieces and like I say, that it also will help as we're preparing to load this stage, or if we're missing anyone, if we need to slow down some things just a little bit, even though we won't have the opportunity to slow down too much.
Yeah, and the way you can let Monica know is we've got the list. She's real time here. So you can check it off tonight. We'll pass around a list so everybody can start taking a look, okay? Thank you, man.
Yep.
All right.
Thank
Would
you.
Would you guys send that around, Carol?
We're gonna write you.
No, send that around. Yeah, it should be one per each, right? All right, we'll figure it out. Okay.
Yeah, you got
Next
you got a couple things in your folder.
Yeah.
One of the items is the committee representation, which we'll
we'll
talk
get to
about
that.
here momentarily. I think Mr. Salcido has the graduation
Okay.
schedule.
Okay, good. Okay,
If you'll just initial.
good. All right. And next we'll go to trustee's remark. And Trustee Duran, you were ready.
I just want to thank once again the Dr. Amy Bosley and the Alamo Colleges for hosting us for the Northside Educational Foundation 5K. I didn't beat my time, but I also didn't get time so that no one could laugh at me. It looked great. It was very humid. I want to also thank the police and the logistical team for putting it all together, and the IAAP group that does a lot of runs here in San Antonio, and the campus facilities at Northwest Vista. Thank you so much for getting up very early and taking care of us and our safety. I want to thank all of our teachers, our staff, and our administrators. Thank you all for all that you've dedicated this academic school year. I hope you rest. You have a restful summer if you're not working summer school, but if you're working summer school, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys soon.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Duran. Trustee Duran. Any other trustees?
Yes.
Trustee Harrell?
I just wanted to say while Ryan is still here, we were invited to
Oh,
go
yeah.
to the mental health, the first ever mental health summit sponsored by a Northside student. It was part of your ISM project, right, Ryan? Kind of, sort of? It was your lifelong, say again? Your magnet school project, thank you. And it's also a passion of yours, and we share that. And so we're looking forward to a district-wide mental health summit. And about this time next year, maybe, we've got a plan for it. But it was so well presented and facilitated. I loved how you started out with your own story, and then we were able to kind of weave in our own thinking and ideas. And so really, everyone left with a lot of hope, and actually, it kind of set the tone for things to come. So I really, really appreciate that. And I know that you are also going to be the only student presenting in a couple weeks here at NAC to a group of educators as well, and hopefully using the same format. So Charles Butt organization is sponsoring that training for teachers, and Northside teachers are invited to that. So good luck, but they're paying you for that. So that'll be college money and hook 'em horns. I wanted to thank Cable Elementary. We were able to go to their family fiesta celebration, and what was really neat is one of the student voice students, Trinity, from O'Connor High School, had her project in full bloom, and it was a reading program. And they were giving out books, but there were all kinds of wonderful exhibits and activities going on, from how to compost. I mean, who would have thought you'd do that at Fiesta? But everything is a celebration, right? So these beautiful gardens is a fiesta, and reading and games, and it was just packed. It was beautiful. And I don't think I left anything out. There was music too, right, Dr. Cobb? It was wonderful. It was great food. I forgot I was gonna start real quickly. Bobby, 83 elementary schools.
Oh.
Right, every single elementary school this year. Phenomenal. And also, is the kingpin behind the solar cars. And so that was a great event for thousands of kids and families. What I loved is we had our official school board, and we will save it for our new members. It's in a nice little box in my office for next year. So I think we figured out how to win this next time. So and tape the battery pack on top so it doesn't drag. It was a fast car, but the battery pack fell off. So I think we came in third. We didn't come in last, but we represented. Taft had a wonderful, they invited us to a Taft senior walk. It was great. I think the kids just kept going down the same hallways. We kept seeing the same kids over and over again. But to celebrate seniors, this wasn't the only school that did it. There were seniors that were walking at their elementary schools and their middle schools. Northside really celebrates being a senior, and that was phenomenal. But just, you could see their senior kids' faces when they were 5 years old as they were going down the hallways and we were cheering for them. We also got an opportunity to read to the ALE kids at Sotomayor, and that was phenomenal. The kids loved every story that we read, and we also got to participate in their Fiesta events. Clinical teachers, I don't know, Ben's here. Ben, that was a great event. I think you could get a better student speaker next time. Just joking, Ryan. Ryan was also the speaker, and you just stood up there and did it in front of all these adults without a lot of rehearsal and everything. I was just like blown away. It had us all in tears, but that was a great way to celebrate those future teachers that we hope to keep. They're the ones who've done their student teaching in Northside, but then came with their mentors. And so that's just a phenomenal way to celebrate everybody. Peace Middle School, David, did you get to go to the Beetlejuice? Phenomenal. It was great. They do dinner and a show, and the kids, I went to the teacher version of it, and it was phenomenal, and the kids just love when people come to watch them. So I know we always go to our high schools, but check the webpage and see in the fine arts section when the middle school versions are, because that's growing our fine arts programs by having us go and give them feedback and cheers and hugs. Storyfest was a huge success. It was throughout this whole building. I forgot the amount of people, hundreds came. My favorite part was reading to turtles. They had turtles. They had birds that you could read to. They did have a dog, but I was fascinated with the kids reading to the turtle. Anyway, lots of great reading going on, in addition to what Bobby did. Project Acorn had a huge celebration at O'Connor High School, and I think Karen and I drove up right when they were packing up. We couldn't make everything after the fun run, and it was a fun run, but as Dr. Croft said. Retirement was great. We started counting how many people did say, I'll be back in a year. So I think, Ben, we get a finder's fee for all the ones that we said, are you coming back? And they said yes. And so we circled their names. We got them. So it's our own recruiting is shaking hands in line. Rawlinson Middle School was awesome to go do their National Junior Honor Society. It's always nice to see kids who have worked so hard and dress up. And so they were having a blast, but it was a great honor to congratulate them. Warren and Sotomayor had great choir programs last week, and what I loved about them is they did, again, celebrate the seniors, but celebrate their entire year through pictures. And so it's like the story of this incredible group of kiddos that from day one, what was neat about looking at the seniors, several of them had just joined last year. And so it kind of gave me positive thinking that, you know, our programs can also evolve in real time. So anyway, but thanks to Warren and Sotomayor, great concerts. CIS had a great luncheon. I was able to have my mentee come from Homes Insight, and we're going to start that as part of a tradition in Northside where we have students come with us or sit at our table, because she was very much inspired by Communities in Schools, who's probably one of our partners who does such an incredible job with our kids and families at our schools. And I'm going to leave the rest, but all's good. Thank you. It was, like you said, it's busy in May.
All right. Trustee Hall, thank you. Trustee Salcido?
Yeah, just real quick, just want to give a shout out the Construction Careers Academy had the tiny home showcase. My family and I went out there to look at. They had a bus, Northside bus, converted into a tiny home. That was really impressive. It's like a wood shop on steroids. It was like, there's no birdhouses. These are actual houses where people live in. It was really amazing. Like Carol said, we also attended the Peace Middle School dinner theater. We did the dinner theater part where they actually served dinner and get to watch the whole theatrical performance. They did Beetlejuice. An awesome job. It was hard to imagine these were middle school kids and the way they were, totally just professionals. Great job. We also had a chance to attend the Jefferson Middle School Dance Showcase held at Sotomayor. That was also awesome. They had middle school kids, and it looked like they were high schoolers. I mean, they were just so professional. My wife and family were always amazed when we get invited to those. And you invite me, we try to come. So thank you.
Good. Thank you, Trustee Salcido. Trustee Hassel?
Hi, I just wanted to take some time to really just thank everyone for this opportunity. I'm extremely thankful and blessed to have the support of my husband, Jeffrey Hasso, who was here supporting me. Also, Rosie Castro, who has always been a mentor to me and a great friend. And then also I see Rick Galvan and also Karina here to support. And then of course, Northside AFT and Texas AFT and teachers aides, support staff that are here to support, and just knowing that always keep me accountable. I'm here for students, for teachers, and support staff. And so thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Zapata?
Okay. Just to reiterate with that, I just want to say thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. I know one of the things that was explained to me is just being a part of the team of 8. And so I'm really excited to be working with everybody here. Thank you to the community, to my family, to my friends, to everybody who endorsed me, believed in me, and just supported me. So thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity, and I look forward to representing our community.
Good, thank you. All right. Trustee Freeman?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Blunt. I'll start with some of the activities, and I was gone like a week and a half to Colorado, and there's an entire laundry list here. The highlights, though, Bobby, yes, congratulations to be able to read to 83 schools. Those of us who read for the NCAA know that truly it's very enjoyable, but it does take time to drive between schools, and appreciate you taking the time to do that and setting that challenge for yourself and meeting that. And then solar cars was just fantastic. Maybe as our trustee car, maybe we need to work on that a little bit sooner than what we did, and maybe start earlier and think about what we need we need to plan for a planning session as we go forward in the spring. But it was great. Again, we weren't first, but we weren't last. So respectable finish. Project Acorn, this was the first time there were so many participants They usually host it in the multipurpose room at their building at O'Connor High School. And they moved into the overflow into the cafeteria. And it's all about, they work, the kids are engaged in environmental literacy through hands-on science. And what they display is their year-long projects and different things that they do at their school. So congratulations to them and all of their school sponsors for what they did. And you can learn so much by just walking around and how to grow plants and just various other things that I don't do well with vegetables, but could stand to learn a few things. Story Fest, congratulations to Lisa Kulka. Certainly a bunch of kids were here. Lots of reading going on, as Dr. Harrell said. The featured author was Suzanne Lang, and who wrote the Grumpy Monkey series. And I was so inspired, I ended up buying 3 books and was pleased that she was able to sign those. So I've become a fan of the Grumpy Monkey series. Retirement celebration and employee service. Yeah, there was a lot of smiles coming across that stage. And yeah, and dancing. And so we were certainly pleased to congratulate all of them. Certainly bittersweet, but congratulating them because they've earned that opportunity to retire, and they all had, if they didn't have plans, they were certainly ready to make them. Student voice, it was the first time we had the 2 groups together. Normally we have 2 sessions because of the geography in the school district. So some of our schools meet here at NAC, some of our schools meet at the Northside Gym because it's closer, but we had them all together. And so they shared some things that they didn't know about themselves, so that was things that we learned. So that was fun. Stan Lang, we honored him in his retirement ceremony. Y'all know Stan. I can't say enough about him. Not only was he, great at instilling athletic skills in kids, but the Beyond the Game program and to teach life skills and leadership skills, he did a really great job. And the kids are certainly better off for it. And those of us who listen to him are better off for that as well. So we certainly congratulate Stan and wish him good fortune. The FFA Awards, as Dr. Kraft had said, they had, with the Gerlach Show and the FFA Awards, they had over $1 million worth of scholarships. But just that night, they awarded $120,000, which was included in what Dr. Kraft had said. And what's really amazing is some of the people who donated the money were parents of either current students in FFA or kids that have been through the program, and they appreciate it so much, and they come back and award the kids. And they are certainly to be commended for that. There were 4 state winning teams this year, and 3 will actually compete in Indianapolis.
Nationals.
And then Electrify Your Strings. So that's an event that Northside has hosted. This is the first year that Miss Elizabeth Sanchez Lopez she was taking charge of that. And just a very successful 2 days. There were 400 elementary school students, 600 high school, middle school kids. And they performed alongside Mark Wood, and he played in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So very talented, and the kids played rock music with orchestra instruments, and it's just something to see. They did a really good job. There was a John Jay Sr. Who was awarded an electric violin, and I understand that he's got a full scholarship to Northwestern University. So kudos to him. Ryan, great job on that presentation. It was just perfect. And we all had an opportunity to share, done very well. You were on time, you had it paced well, just great job. And as I take the oath of office, I reflect, it's truly an honor and a privilege, even though that sounds cliche. I really believe it is an honor and a privilege to be able to serve the community of Northside. you know, the people on this board occasionally come and go, but what remains is the legacy, and the legacy that of people that have served in the past, and that continues to endure. It's a commitment, it's about integrity, it's about service, it's about loving this district and doing what's best for kids. The new board here will continue to be able to build on this legacy, and I am honored to be part of it as we grow our team and build that as we go forward. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Trustee Freeman. And I'll just bring up four quick items. First one is, as part of our board visits out to different areas within our district, we went out to the Nellie Reddick Center about 2 weeks ago or so. Just a quick comment. I've known about Nellie Reddick for a while, but to actually spend some time there and really understand the impact it is and the challenges is simply amazing. So it's a story that very few understand, but that was enlightening. With all the years I've been on, that was really enlightening. So it's a good visit there. They talked about solar cars. A couple of things on that. First one is technology. Having that big screen up there. That was something else. Everybody could see better. I mean, it was a whole production for it, being able to show not only the races live as they were going on, so people could see a lot better, which is a big challenge sometimes, as well as the different features that we showed throughout. It was that has really paid off. I know it was talked about, but that has really paid off. And I'll give you a real quick history, not too long, on how solar cars really started, because we've got a lot of new people here. It actually started out as a request by the partnerships office had contacted my corporation to do a partnership with Rayburn and Allen at that time, Lackland City/Allen, but really this was really for Rayburn Middle School. And when we first started out, it actually wasn't done by teachers, it was done by engineers. It wasn't engineers, just my corporation. We had engineers across the city and everything else that ran solar cars as engineering mentors after school for about the first 5 or 6 years. And then we got teachers and others involved. The other part is it started out as a state competition, initially against Houston, and Dallas started coming, the Valley, et cetera. So in the last part I'll bring up, it was actually more than just racing solar cars. They used to have to also, we judge the cars and actually see how well they were built, et cetera, but they actually do presentations. So we were coming up here at NAC, the kids had to present other things. So it's come long ways because of the size and scalability for it. So that's how solar cars really got started. Y'all mentioned 83 schools. I do want to thank all the principals for letting me into schools, you never know, as well as all the librarians and the teachers and the students. It was a lot of time, but it was definitely worth it to make all 83 as of last week. It's just amazing. I think y'all know I'm involved in other things in the community, but if I'm on a soccer field, other things, parents go, hey, you read to my child at their school. They told me that. So it was really great. I did make a mistake though. I went to the Learning Tree celebration. I was here, and I made the statement that I bet I could visit all 95 of our Learning Tree locations. So I'll be reading to 83 schools with some other trustees. I'm going to ask for y'all's help as we visit all 95 Learning Tree locations next year. And that is my report.
Bobby,
Yeah, go right
I
ahead.
just have one more thing. For the new trustees, there's a piece of paper going around that says retreat dates. Don't think of it as a retreat. It's a mischaracterized title. It's a working day for us, our working time period. It's more, and really, it's team forming, but it is a work session, but it says retreat. So I want to make sure you guys know that. And to also welcome y'all to the board too. I was thinking the other day that I was just comparing it to my life growing up, because we moved every 2 or 3 years. My dad was in the Air Force, and every time it was time to move, I kept thinking, this is the best place I've ever lived. How could the next place be better? And then it was better, and then the next place was better. And I say that with my students. Oh, this was the best class I've ever taught, or classes I've ever taught, and then the next one comes. So, last month, that was the best board that I had worked with after other boards. Now this will be the best board. So I know we're all going to do great things for kids, but welcome. And if, we're always a phone call and a text away. There's never any question too small, and believe me, I still ask questions. So welcome.
Good. And It's actually 3-hour team building. That's
is
what it
not
means,
team
just so you know.
Got it.
Well,
It is.
well,
It is. No,
and
no,
we'll-
by law, it is
Yeah.
team building.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
By law.
We will talk through
Kumbaya,
all
holding hands.
all of the required hours, training hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Bobby's exactly right. It is a team building. You mentioned Nellie Reddick's. That
Yeah.
reminded me. Tomorrow, right here
Oh,
at
yeah.
NAC, we'll have a completion ceremony for Nellie Reddick's. And to answer your question, Senate Bill 3 did not make it through the House.
Say
So,
what?
Senate Bill 13 did not make it through the House.
Okay.
So
All right. Hey,
Yay, Diana Ely will be happy. Our librarians will be happy.
so that completes our board members report. And next, and I'll give it to Dr. Kraft, but really looking forward to this report. As you know, we've engaged more of a partnership with our PTA council as a board, as our district has always done that. So we're looking forward to Dr. Kraft.
yeah,
and the
absolutely.
report.
So Crystal Rivas, I think you probably all know, our president for our PTA council, and Jordan Wagner are here this evening. So Crystal asked for 45 minutes to.
I
She
can talk
wanted
for
to
45
provide a quick
minutes.
update in regards to the state of the PTA council here in Northside.
Yes,
And we
thank
so
you.
appreciate y'all's support. We really
Awesome.
do.
Thank you, Dr. Kraft, and thank you, Board of Trustees. As he said, my name is Crystal Rivas. I am the council president for my second and last term, so this will be my last term as council president. I do have 2 kids in Northside, one at Carlos Cuna Elementary and one soon-to-be high school student for John Jay SEA. So I am a product of Northside. I met my husband at Taft High School. I attended Zachary Middle School and Northwest Crossing Elementary. So I love this district just as much as you do. So thank you for letting me speak today. Our collective vision of 117 PTAs that make up our council is to ensure every child's potential is a reality because we value the partnership between the superintendent, school board, community, and the PTAs. And because we count on your continued support, we want to give you a brief update on our important work. I am providing this report in writing, but would like to go over a few of our highlights. So just some backstory. I presented one in the fall, so this is now our spring, so it's gonna kind of have some old information and then some updated information. See if I know how to do this right. I did it, yay! Okay, so some goals and efforts. I'm gonna go over our previous goals of what we talked about at our last one. So our mission statement to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children is recited at the beginning of our delegate meetings and at our executive board meetings. This is to ensure that our locals and our local leaders are aware of what we're standing for and what we represent. A goal that we also had was Rally Day 2025, fill a charter bus, donation drive for NISD Threads, our Jack C. Jordan Scholarship, and our National PTA Reflections Program. So updates on that. We do, like I said, continue to do that. We did fill a charter bus, go Jordan. We had over 65 attendees. We did have a donation drive for NISD Threads. We have raised over $21,700.38 for our Jack C. Jordan Scholarship. Donations came from 34 elementary schools, 11 middle schools, 7 high schools, and 2 community donations. And for our National PTA Reflection Program, we had over 122 entries that were advanced to the council level. So just some cute little photos. There's our Jack CJ students. There's our reflection ceremony, our rally day, and then some of our drive photos. Just kidding. I don't know if I know how to go back, Miss Monica. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, so like I said, we consist of 107 local PTAs, which makes us the biggest council of PTAs in the state. I've been told there aren't gonna be any more schools being built, so, you know, that 117, let's hold it strong, guys, because the next one is Austin, they have 111. We do have a 13-member executive board who provides leadership, oversight, and training for our local leaders. So our membership numbers. This was as of, okay, I did it. 5/24/25, we are 24,794 members strong, which is an increase of 1,313 members from last year. And our overall goal is 25,000, so we're almost there. So if you haven't joined a PTA or if you want to join a PTA, please join PTA. It's a goal that my VP of membership, Candy Bauman, is really trying to get, and I hope we get it because she has been working so much on all this. We do have 2 Grand PTA memberships, which is Dr. Kraft and Bobby Blunt. These 2 gentlemen have joined all 117 of our local PTAs, so that is our Grand PTA membership. Some awards that we've been awarded, we have our Shining Star Companion, Council on the Move, and our Spring Community Builder. We also participate in training as well. We have council training, so we train at Launch up in Dallas, and then we also have a council board orientation where our Texas PTA assigned field service representative comes in and hosts a training for the whole entire council board. We also train our local PTAs. We have a financial reconciliation event coming up here at NAC on July 15th. We have our mentor program, which really helps the CP break out because, again, 117 across so much. It really helps breaking it out into smaller groups. We had Rally Day training, My PT Easy training, as well as membership training. Our big old fun party is what people call it, Founders Day celebration. It honors the vital role PTA has played in supporting parent involvement and advocating for all our children. It's a time to reflect on our achievements and thank the pioneers who made this work possible. The theme this year was PTA Powering for a Brighter Future. If you can't tell the theme, we can't be friends. But Holmes did an amazing job, and there's Miss Elizabeth down there, and there's a couple of my board members and the folklorial dancers. But they did an amazing job. Chef Danielle, shout out to her. Her food was amazing. I heard a lot of good feedback from that. And that's actually all that I have for y'all today. So thank y'all so much for allowing me to speak. I hope to continue this partnership with y'all. Thank you. Like I said, this is my last term as CP, but I will be returning to the board, so I'll still be there. So thank y'all again.
Thank you.
Well, again, thank you, Crystal, and to the entire board, and really all of our PTA councils. It's pretty phenomenal. When they meet on a monthly basis, it's pretty amazing. They fill this room plus some. So we appreciate y'all's continued support, and particularly your advocacy during the legislative session this year.
Good. And I'll pass on the thanks too. You heard earlier, we like when Northside shines and having the biggest and also the best and just a great relationship. So thank you all again. Thanks to both of you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and switch over now. We now have our citizens to be heard portion. I think we have about 8 citizens to be heard. 7
Yes, sir.
to be heard. If I understand, all 7, unless somebody tells us differently, are going to speak during citizens be heard, right? Not for a specific agenda item. Okay, good. We did read that correctly. So again, we do value our citizens to be heard. We are restrained by law from taking any action. What we request that you make your remarks at the podium. We'll have 3 minutes for your remark, and I think we have both on the screen as well as our board secretary. We'll hold up the yellow card when 2 minutes have passed, and then when your time is up at the 3-minute point, then they'll hold up the red card. Very important, we ask that you not make any type of commentary that's personal against any individual by name. And other than that, I think we're all set to be heard.
Yes, sir. First signed up is Jennifer John.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer John, and I'm the proud orchestra director of Stevenson Middle School. I have also been the elementary strings instructor at Braun Station, Broccoli, and Nichols. I was once a student at Braun Station myself, where I started learning the cello in the elementary strings program, and I continued with orchestra as a student at Stevenson Middle School and Communications Arts High School. My music teachers and orchestra directors had such a profound impact on me that it inspired me to get my degree in music education from UTSA. By doing so, I now have the privilege of teaching and inspiring more students in the same schools I was raised in. Therefore, I am a proud product of Northside, and I'm passionate about music education, the performing arts, and public school education. As we heard from others at the previous board meeting, I have felt disheartened by the decisions to dissolve choir programs at specific schools and to split more performing arts directors due to campus enrollment and teacher allotments. The student population at Stevenson has unfortunately also been declining, making it increasingly more difficult to recruit and maintain students. This is not from lack of effort, as we all work incredibly hard to recruit students, but these systemic issues continue to hold us back. All of us enjoy seeing students give outstanding performances, but at the middle and high school level, these performances do not come from occasional club meetings. These high-level performances are a product of daily intentional practice and specialized instruction provided by highly skilled educators. Furthermore, the skills students cultivate in the performing arts classes can be transferred to other areas of their lives, ultimately creating more well-rounded people. I understand that various factors go into these decisions, but one idea is letting sixth graders have 2 electives by removing advisory. Many students and parents would prefer having 2 electives, and many elective teachers have been assigned to teach those advisory classes. This way, the students can have a second elective, boosting elective numbers, and more elective teachers can teach their primary content area. The performing arts are an integral part of Northside's tradition of excellence, and our established programs set us apart from charter schools and private schools. As South Texas's largest public school system, we are a destination district, and investing in the performing arts will help to maintain that status, ensuring that students, parents, and teachers continue to choose Northside. For all of these reasons, it is my hope that we continue this conversation to explore ideas and ensure that the performing arts are consistently offered and supported in Northside. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Next signed up is Grace Garza.
Hi, my name is Grace Garza and I work in the district. In Northside, we pride ourselves in being the largest district in San Antonio, 4th largest in the state, and like she said, the destination district for children and staff. I'm here today to ask for an increase in auxiliary staff pay. Many of our staff make poverty level wages, have second jobs, have children on Medicaid, living on food stamps, and living within their means, but struggling to make ends meet. As a special education teacher, I myself have had a successful class because of instructional assistance. I've had better paperwork and communication because of the support of office staff. As a parent with children here in Northside, my children make it on time because of those bus staff people. They are served great meals by amazing cafeteria staff. And my daughter is cared for at an after-school program called Learning Tree, where people work there for $12.50 an hour. With the increased salaries for auxiliary staff, we would retain employees and build a positive Northside culture, living wages that is well-deserved, especially the instructional assistants in my classroom. Come check them out. As a school board, you are guardians through policies and are responsible for our schools. I am confident in a positive outcome that you will come up with. Let's continue to be the premier district to live, work, and send our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Juliana Sandoval.
Hi, my name is Juliana, and this is my service dog, Raven. I'm in 4th grade at Scarborough Elementary. I have a rare disease called hereditary copoporphyria. I'm actually the only kid in the world with it under 12. Even my doctors have a hard time saying it. I also have anhidrosis, dysautonomia, anxiety, and epilepsy. A lot of people think I'm okay because I look fine, but they don't ask how I feel or what I need. This is what it is like having an invisible disability. Every day I check the temperature because I can't be in the heat when it's over 80 degrees. My recess is in the afternoon, so I have to stay inside most days. I've been told that I'm okay, but I'm not. I feel sad because I want to play outside with my friends. If I could, if recess was moved to the morning because of my rare disease, I hear no a lot from doctors in the school, and that's already hard. All I want is to be included, to feel safe, and to have a normal school day and recess with my friends like everyone else. I promise I'm trying my best. I just want to be seen. I do not want to be left out. Will you please help me find solutions so that school can create a schedule that will consider my needs so that I can enjoy my last elementary school year with my classmates.
Hey, Juliana, very, I do want to say, naturally, we all definitely feel for you. We're definitely rooting for you, if I can say that sort of in any way possible. It took a lot of courage for you to come here this evening and to let us that, and we appreciate that. But more than anything else, we definitely wishing you the best as we can. Trustee Earl?
No, I was.
Joanna Sandoval?
Hello, my name is Joanna Sandoval, and today I want to share something very personal and incredibly important, not just to me, but someone I love very much, my sister. My sister is one of the strongest people I know. She faces battles every single day, but most people don't even realize it. Why? Because her disabilities are invisible. She looks like everyone else. She smiles, she laughs, she tries her best to keep up. But behind that smile is a girl dealing with multiple invisible disabilities, things you can't see, but things that deeply affect how she lives, learns, and plays. One of the biggest challenges she faces is the heat. Due to her disability, she physically cannot tolerate temperatures above 80 degrees. It makes her feel sick, weak, and incredibly uncomfortable. This means that when recess is scheduled in the middle of the day, when the sun is strongest, she has to stay inside. Every single night, she checks the weather, hoping and praying for a cooler day so she can finally go outside and play with her friends. It might not seem like a big deal, it's just recess, right? But to her, it's much more. It's connection, it's freedom, it's a chance to feel included. And right now, she's being left out, not because anyone is being mean, but because the system isn't designed to see what's invisible. Everyone looks at her, thinks she's fine, but the truth is every day is a fight for her, a fight to feel normal, a fight to be understood, a fight to not be left behind. So all I'm asking today is simple, that the school she attends can come up with a solution to allow her recess time to be specifically in the morning when the temperature is cooler so she can go outside and spend time with her peers in her last year of elementary school. Let her have that one part of the day where she doesn't have to fight just to be like everyone else. Take that weight off her shoulders. Let her be a kid. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for speaking for, and I'm sure helping to take care of your sister too. Thank you.
Lupita Sandoval.
First, I want to thank Dr. Kraft for recognizing Rare Disease Day in February. The public acknowledgement meant a lot to our family. Awareness is the first step to equity. My daughter attends Scarborough Elementary School, and she has a complex medical learning disability. She spent 94 days in the hospital last year. And I want to thank her teachers. I want to thank you guys for the support. Over the last year, we've experienced a lot of gap in her services, miscommunication and decisions. And I just come to you to ask for support. First, decisions were presented to us as final. We've encountered multiple situations where key decisions, such as placement, accommodations, and scheduling were made before or outside of the ARD meeting, and then presented to us as final. This directly contradicts the collaborative nature of the ARD process and violates Juliana's right to idea. Second, misinformation about accommodations. Juliana was denied access to a medical fridge prior to the start of the school year, which is essential for her daily care. The initial reason given was that it violated the fire code, something we confirmed with the Bexar County Fire Chief was false. The justification later was changed to energy efficiency goals. This forced our family to spend hours researching laws and policies, time we should have been spending caring for our child. Third, fighting for indoor placement. Due to Juliana's inability to sweat, the indoor classroom placement was not medically necessary, yet we again were met and told that this was only an administrative decision and not an our decision. Finally, recess denial due to a master schedule. Most recently, this past week, we were told Juliana would not get equal access to recess with her peers because there was a master schedule conflict for next year. We were informed this was an administrative decision and not an our decision. Recess is just not playtime for her. It's a social, emotional, and medical need. Denying it based on convenience without our review is unacceptable. We continue to hear decisions that impact Juliana's basic needs, our administrative decisions, and not our ones. Our daughter is not a policy conflict. She is not a budget concern. She is not a master schedule conflict. She is a child resilient, courageous, and deserving of dignity, safety, access to a free and appropriate public education, and access to recess with her peers. I ask that you would ensure that our decisions are made collaboratively and transparently with parent participation, not after-fact delivery. That you require staff to verify legal and policy claims before communicating them to families. That you would provide mandatory training to campus level for invisible and rare disabilities, and that you would establish real accountability when students' rights and accesses to services are denied. Thank you for your time and your commitment to make all children seen, valued, and protected.
Thanks, Ms. Sandoval. Joanne Para.
Good evening, distinguished Northside Board and Superintendent. My name is Joanne Parra. I am the proud mother of a 2019 graduate of Harlan High School and a 2021 graduate of Health Careers High School. I also served as a Northside Independent School District collaborative teacher and academic technology coach for 12 years. I've also been a taxpayer since 1998. Since 1998 to this great district, and I've seen it grow by leaps and bounds. I proudly assisted in opening Scarborough Elementary. As a collaborative teacher at Scarborough Elementary, my role entailed providing for both general and special education students with access to the 4th grade curriculum and ensuring that they were also growing socially and emotionally in a safe environment. At no time did any of the many ARDs that I sat in last longer than an hour. Now, I'm not sure if it's current campus leadership or if it's district leadership who have negatively transformed ARD meetings into bullying sessions that last 6 hours. But this has to stop. Parents of a medically fragile child who are already battling against an unknown disease, who have witnessed their child flatline, should not be subjected to battling their neighborhood school for their child's safety when walking to the restroom from outdoors, nor when playing during recess. Northside, we have to do better by our students. Unless this information has been purposely hidden from you, the board, then the high number of court cases lost by Northside versus special education students is not a surprise to you. Northside is not protecting the education and safety of their students. Many law firms who speak to other school districts during the summer, when they're getting the district ready for a new school year, the first thing they tell school districts is, don't be like Northside. Northside has to do better by their students. It's no wonder that the Texas legislature is working against the equal funding of its school districts and is supporting vouchers when one of the largest school districts in the state is not doing right by our special education students. While we are fortunate to not have lost any children to horrific events, such as what happened at Robb Elementary, I leave you with this. What will you tell the media about losing a child to a seizure caused by overheating, despite the plea of her parents that was willingly chosen to be overlooked for her physical safety and scheduled recess in the heat of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melina Espirito Oscar.
Good evening, trustees and Dr. Kraft. My name is Melina Espiritu Azocar, and I am the very proud president of Northside AFT. On behalf of our union, I want to warmly welcome our new trustees to the school board. Dr. Sonia Hasso and Coach Laura Zapata are both highly qualified, incredible individuals who are deeply committed to seeing Northside ISD thrive. They are dedicated to servicing our students, families, and the entire community, and we are thrilled to have them representing District 2 and District 5. Our union is built by those who work, live, and send their children and grandchildren to Northside ISD schools. They are teachers, counselors, librarians, nurses, instructional assistants, bus drivers, bus assistants, custodians, maintenance workers, cafeteria workers, and so many more. They are the working people and the working families who serve Northside ISD every single day. Our mission as a union has always been and will always be to ensure that these essential stakeholders have a voice in how our school district is run. We are excited to finally have a school board that reflects the voices of working families. As the second largest union in San Antonio, affiliated with the San Antonio AFL-CIO, who represents over 37 local unions across San Antonio, we stand tonight in solidarity with our fellow union members from Northside AFT and across the city. We celebrate these important wins and what it means to have a school board trustees who understand and champion the needs of working families. At the end of the day, our goals are the same as a school district. We want all our children to have the best schools, the best teachers and support staff. We want to build a destination district where educators in San Antonio are proud to work and where they want to stay. We know that Northside ISD can and should be that place, the best school district in the city of San Antonio. That is why we are so committed to collaborating with working families who make up the majority of the school district to ensure that Northside ISD community can achieve these goals together. We look forward to working together to face the challenges ahead and to continue to fight for our public schools. We know that our students deserve the very best, and we will keep working tirelessly to ensure they and the staff who serve them have the public schools they truly deserve. Thank you.
And last signed up is Whitney Meter.
Good evening, board, and thank you for your time. My name is Whitney Meter, and I am the parent of a student at Folks Middle School. I'm here today as a concerned mother who has spent the last 5 months navigating an incredibly alarming situation that exposed serious gaps in our district's ability to respond to threats of school violence. In January, a student at my son's school made multiple threats, including naming my son's friend as someone he would kill first if he were a school shooter. That same student later physically assaulted the targeted child and issued additional threats to him and other students. Despite multiple reports, written documentation, and direct meetings, the administration failed to act with urgency, consistency, or transparency. The families involved were promised schedule changes, adherence to safety procedures, regular updates, and communication to school staff. These commitments were either delayed, forgotten, or never followed through on. My son missed school repeatedly for fear. Fear that was justified by the school's inability to enforce its own policies or prioritize student safety. We were fortunate that our school did not experience a tragedy, not because proper safeguards were followed, but because that student simply chose not to act on his threats yet. That is not a safety plan, that is luck. And luck is not a strategy. Luck does not keep our children and our educators safe. This district is less than 100 miles from Uvalde.
We have seen the horror of what happens when warning signs are ignored and when systems fail. There is no room for missteps or confusion with threats of mass violence. Procedures must be followed every time without exception. If they're not, either the training is inadequate or the leadership is. I understand that that is a harsh statement, but the stakes are too high to sugarcoat the truth. These systems are only as reliable as the people entrusted to carry them out, and in our case, they failed. Not once, not twice, but through 9 documented breakdowns. We didn't have a school shooting, thank God. But we left the door open to our worst fears, and without serious intervention, that door remains open. Since January, I've heard from parents across the district that similar breakdowns have occurred. This is a pattern of poor communication, delayed action, and dangerous lapses in follow-through. So I ask the board, what will you do with this information? Because if stories like mine keep surfacing and the response is silence without action, we aren't protecting our schools, we are inviting tragedy. Safety protocols must be more than words on paper. They must be implemented, tested, and reinforced regularly. The board must ensure that every administrator knows the procedures, is trained in them, and is held accountable when they don't follow through. I'm calling on you to launch a formal district-wide review of school safety response procedures and ensure the systems are not only in place, but actually working. This cannot be a one-time conversation. I am here and I am open to the dialogue, but I will not stay silent when my child's safety and the safety of all of our children and our educators is on the line. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meter. If you can leave us with those 9 documented cases, that'd be great, and we'll be following up with you.
Okay. All right, that completes our citizen be heard portion. And once again, in this particular item, the board is for information only or for listening from our citizens. We can't take action and we can't have a deliberation or discussion on it by law because anything we're going to discuss has to be posted in advance and given opportunity, like Dr. Kraft was just doing, for administration to address what we're hearing this evening. So we're not ignoring anybody. I want you all, I think you all know that per se, but believe the messages were heard, okay? So next we'll go over to our consent agenda. And again, our consent agenda are those items that are considered routine and/or recurring nature. Typically, they may have either presented at a prior board meeting or at or something that we do on a constant, frequent basis. So I'll ask, first of all, is there any item that any board member wants to pull or superintendent for discussion?
Most of these items were discussed in, like I say, an academic committee meeting, a building committee meeting, or finance committee meetings. So like I say, we'll be glad to discuss any and all. I know that one of the policies, which is for the second reading, is the FDA local, which it pertains to our open enrollment campaign. As promised in our last policy committee meeting, with your approval this evening, we will launch that campaign immediately, allowing students outside of the school district, given capacity, no excessive discipline and or lack of attendance records to attend Northside ISD schools where, like I said, we have space available.
Okay, all right. Dr. Kraft? All right. If not, is there a motion to come before the board on the consent agenda?
Mr.
Yeah, great. Trustee Hall?
I move we approve consent agenda as listed in our agenda.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, a second. Is there any further discussion? Now, it's been moved and second that we approve the consent agenda as identified and presented. All those in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Those opposed, state nay. Okay, good. Motion carries. All right, so that completes the consent agenda. Next, we'll go into our business and finance area.
I'll turn this piece directly over to Megan
Thank
to
you.
kick
We
us
have a-
off.
Thank you, sir. We have a few items for you this evening. The first item we have is an information-only item. It is the notice of intent to apply for federal grants. It is in your board packet, and through board policy CB local, which is also included in your packet, it says that the district shall provide public notice of federal grant applications through an information item at a board meeting and by publishing information on the district's website. So that is what we're doing tonight. You have a list of the grants that we intend to apply for, provided in your packet. That is also on our district website. And when you go to our district website, there is a portion of the website that has the intent to file the notices, and you have an opportunity to click on a link and provide public comment. And it's a great website. I want to encourage you all to go look at that, where you can actually go into the individual grants and provide the public content of anything that you would like to provide to us. And that's true for the public, so I want to encourage them also to go and look at that site to provide input if they are interested. And this fulfills this requirement for the board policy. So no action needs to be taken by the board, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Trustee Freeman?
Now, for clarification, Ms. Bradley, too, we discussed this in this Finance Committee meeting, and I saw Sharon here.
She was, I think she's in the back, yes. There she is.
I asked the question about the opportunities for grants, considering we've heard at the federal level some of the grant money has been cut. So from last year or previous years, can you speak to the trend this year? The trend is grants available.
Okay, yes.
To apply for.
So the ESSER grant, of course, is the concern that went away. So that one has, I'm going to use the words dried up. But outside of that, our normal grants that we have, the Title I, the IDEA, are still available, and the dollar amounts have not decreased. So we have not seen that. We are tracking that information, and we will, of course, let the board know if we become concerned of any other grants that may change.
Thank you. I know that's a question that I've been asked personally.
Yes.
For that and with our new board members. I appreciate that. That was all. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments, questions? All right, for information only, so we can go to our next item.
The next item we have for you this evening is a first reading of Board Policy CFB, local for accounting inventories. We also brought this to the Finance Committee meeting and discussed it. That we have received correspondence from TEA, and that is provided in your packet also through something that they call a TAA, to the administrator addressed. And it provides the documentation that the OMB at the federal level has changed the capitalization policies, which means for capitalization, it's what we must record as a district asset. And it has moved from 5,000 to 10,000 at the federal level. And we have the opportunity to do that for us at a district level by changing Board Policy CFB local. So what we are asking for in the first reading of this policy change is to change the capitalization threshold for purposes of classifying individual capital assets at $10,000 rather than the $5,000 that is listed in the CFB local currently. So we're bringing that forward here as the first reading, and then we'll bring it back to you at the next board reading for a second reading, if the board is okay with that. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about that change.
Yeah, and just explain on our policies are sort of a two-step process. The very first one that's presented to us, usually to go to a committee first, a policy committee, and it comes to the full board, and it's considered a first reading. At the first reading, you get the summary. It was extremely well done just now. If you have any comments or questions now, but it gives you the opportunity to ask further comments and questions later. And typically at the next board meeting is when it comes up for second reading, and that's when we'll put it for the board to potentially pass. So if anybody has any comments or questions, remember, you don't have to, you have them now, that's fine. If not, you've got time until our next board meeting. Okay? So give any comments or questions then? Okay? So we'll consider that the first reading, and we're ready for our next item.
Thank you, sir. Our next item is a little more lengthy, and so this is our regular budget update. Dr. Kraft, would you like to give a legislative
let me,
update?
as promised, we kind of discuss where we are with really the committee substitute to House Bill 2. This has gotten really complicated really fast. You probably have seen the headline, a historic investment in public education to the tune of $8.5 billion. And so as we were working through this over the past several days, which I know, like I say, our legislators were meeting in Austin over the past several days, the committee substitute is just that. It has substituted quite a bit of language from the originally proposed House Bill 2 that, as you can probably recall, was passed out of the House late one evening last week. The committee substitutes, which we'll dig into pretty extensively, did focus on teacher compensation and really increasing teacher compensation above and beyond what the original version of House Bill 2, obviously originating in the Public House Education Committee. And then it also, rather than applying an increase to the basic allotment, created a new allotment, which is being referred to as the fixed cost allotment to the tune of $1.3 billion. They did set aside also $500 million for compensation increases outside of the required teacher compensation increase. And I'll just go ahead and let you know that the teacher compensation piece is just teachers. So it's not inclusive of nurses, librarians, and counselors as the originally proposed House Bill 2 was. For districts of 5,000 students or more, which obviously is Northside and many other large school districts, it's a $2,500 increase for teachers with 3 to 5 years of experience. And then for 5 years or greater, it's a $5,000 increase. I've been asked, well, what about experience that ranges between 0 and 2 years? It's not included in the legislation. The $500 million set aside or earmarked for compensation increases outside of the teacher compensation piece equates to what we've calculated about, and don't hold us to this just yet, but we are discussing and looking at compensation packages of about 1 to a 1.25% general pay increase. That is what $500 million looks like as it pertains to all other staff if a general pay increase was applied. So you don't see me doing backflips right now. And this is not to say that the increase in the much needed teacher compensation piece is not appreciated. But this is hardly in my view, a humble view, a comprehensive school finance bill that is really going to move the needle. I question where some of the allotments are really being applied, but this is where we are. I do absolutely think that the passage of Senate Bill 2, or ESAs, i.e. vouchers, to the tune of $1 billion being applied again in the 26-27 school year was a leverage point, as was House Bill 4, which I mentioned earlier. This is the elimination of STAR testing that is yet to be passed through the Senate, but it was absolutely part of the conversation. Elimination of STAR, moving more towards a nationally normed assessment or through-year assessment program. A through F remains intact, but the accountability system calculation itself changes pretty significantly with some local accountability, CCMR metrics, et cetera. But the reason I bring those two pieces of legislation because as House Bill 2, and particularly the committee substitute House Bill 2, was being discussed and proposed in meetings, those were absolutely, like I say, levers that were also discussed. Where we are now, this has, like I say, passed the full Senate. Assuming it passes the House, which I believe it absolutely will garner that support, will go to the governor's desk for engrossment and his signature. Again, it's not guaranteed seeing how this legislative session has played out, but again, June 2nd is quickly approaching, and this, as we've discussed for the last several weeks, House Bill 2 is the school finance vehicle. There's no other significant piece of legislation that is out there. The only thing that was really interjected, if you recall, there was a Senate bill, but it was really just geared towards teacher compensation increase. Again, no increase to the basic allotment. The fixed cost allotment was, in essence, a replacement of an meager increase to the basic allotment to pay for inflationary cost drivers such as property insurance, electricity cost, the TRS and benefit piece that is associated with the required $2,500 and $5,000 teacher pay raise, which for us is almost $4 million unfunded. So that just kind of gives you an idea as to where we are. And then, like I said, I know Megan and Tiffany have been working on this pretty diligently. Please don't hold us to these numbers just yet, because again, we're working off of assumptions that it's been really difficult to model. In fact, the Legislative Budget Board, I don't believe, had even the opportunity to model it until late Sunday. So it's pretty fresh. But we feel like that we've got a pretty good handle on at least estimates as to where we'll be, and particularly where we'll be as we're putting together fiscal year 26 budget, which is will be coming to you for your consideration and approval of the tax rate in August, as a reminder. So, Megan, I know I left off some big pieces, but
Trustee Hall had a question on your.
I have a real quick question. I may have misunderstood, but I thought there was going to, or as part of this, was a support staff allotment, which I even heard that again today, and I think Senator Moss had referred to it and defined them as our bus drivers and cafeteria workers, and so I mean, if we can revisit that, I really thought there was. And again, I could be wrong.
There's $500 million that's going to be dispersed across school districts to provide support, compensation support outside of the teacher compensation piece.
So
I don't
there is
know.
$45 per ADA, I'm sorry, $45 per regular program ADA that's provided to provide salaries for support staff.
Okay. And that support staff allotment is bus drivers, cafeteria workers.
Non-administrators.
Non-administrators.
Non-administrators and the teachers that have less than 3 years of experience. But as Dr. Kraft said, that will equate to approximately a 1% general pay increase.
I'm sorry.
No.
It's
It's
minuscule.
I know. It sounded glorious, but it's
It sounds great. It's being pitched to sound great.
No, I got you. Thanks.
Comment, Bobby?
Trustee Freeman.
Yeah, so, yeah, this has been spun very well by people in Austin. And we keep hearing, from the lieutenant governor, people that this is the be-all to end-all bill. We've taken care of public ed, and they've done their job. And I know we're just finding out about this, but it is way short of what we need. And I think we've got a whole presentation here about where we're going to be with budget that we've heard in Finance Committee, and that's not a pretty picture. And I would like to, we need to broadcast this louder to our community. Because
I can say this with very good certainty, Ms. Freeman, that what has been proposed, in assuming that this, again, is engrossed, this is not going to come anywhere close to curbing the 75% plus of the districts that are operating a deficit budget. It doesn't come anywhere close. It hardly even will put a dent in those efforts. And so we'll walk through that because, again, I don't want to say we're on the very cutting edge, but we've been working this alongside the proposed legislation pretty aggressively to be to a point where we've kind of pulled back the curtain, so to speak. And there are models, and like I say, there's advertising, and then there's numbers. So you're correct in your assessment.
Well, and just talking to my neighbors, we were speaking about a few things, and it's difficult to explain the elevator speech about how this is not going to help us much at all, and that's not what they hear. So, I don't know how we. It's more than an elevator speech.
Yeah, let's dig into it, because like I say, there's a lot of moving pieces, and it good, bad, or indifferent, it just complicates the funding formulas just that much more, my assessment. And again, yes, arguably speaking, it's an $8.5 billion investment of taxpayer money, but outside of teacher compensation, I'm just, again, I'm not doing backflips. In fact, I'm not for sure I can even applaud the effort, speaking very plainly. It's where I differ from probably some of my colleagues. All right, Megan.
So where we're starting this evening, with that nice introduction, is this document that's on this slide and the next slide actually came from the legislators. And you can see at the top, the Texas House and Senate Plan for School Finance. This was released late last week, and when we were learning that they had negotiated and came up with a deal that both sides plan to approve. What I want to point out on this slide, the most is at the yellow circle that says the 1.3 billion in new allotment for basic costs. They're calling the ABC. It's also being known as the fixed cost allotment. It is shown as the second bullet point under the landmark reforms section, and saying that this allotment is intended to relieve budget pressures like skyrocketing insurance premiums, TRS costs tied to teacher raises. So they're acknowledging that the teacher raise piece does not cover TRS, and this is meant to help with that, and utility cost. So that is a new allotment we've never had before, and I'm glad they put that in. It's a good positive thing. I'll let you read the rest of these items for yourself when you have time. The next piece came on the bottom part of this one pager that they sent out, talking about the teacher pay increases that Dr. Kraft talked about. The first piece is talking about the pay raises for teachers, and then another 500 million that's dedicated for non-administrative staff pay raises. And so we'll talk about that here in a moment. The pieces that we have, it talks about the offers up to $8,000 per teacher for 5 years of experience. That's for districts that have less than 5,000 students. We have more than 5,000, so that dollar amount for our teachers would be $5,000. So want to make sure we're clarifying that based on the items here. And again, I'm not going to go into all the detail here, but wanted you to see that this was sent to us by the legislators as they reached their negotiations. So this is my attempt to bring it together to you to show what we believe it means to us. I have preliminary on here because this has not been validated other than by me and Tiffany and Jake. So we want to make sure that we disclose this is very preliminary, but where we believe the House Bill 2 Senate floor amendment gets us, so on the far right-hand side. So you've seen the first column of numbers and the second column of numbers several times at board meetings now. And now we're bringing in this right-hand column is what we believe this legislation brings to us. So we'll go down a little bit of it. I tried to group it in tranches that we could take up separately and look at. So the regular program allotment, if you remember me bringing you that cake here to the board meeting, and the bottom layer of that cake, that first line item is that bottom layer of cake for the most part. And so you see that that number is actually going down for us. The reason why is our declining enrollment, and the change to the basic allotment was not, it was $55, but it's taken from our golden penny yield, which is the third from the bottom line item. You can also see that dollar amount is decreasing also. So they took money from the golden penny yield, moved it to increase the basic allotment by $55, but because our student counts are going down, that goes down too. So our bottom layer of the cake we use, the piece we use for basic educational program is decreasing. Did you have a question, Ms. Freeman?
No, I don't know if we need to talk about it at this time or not. There's a lot of discussion, at least in some text threads that I'm on, regarding this golden penny yield and what it actually means. And then for those districts that have actually gone out for a TRE, what does that mean to them? Can you summarize?
There's a lot of concern, and I should have disclosed at the very beginning, we have not seen bill language yet. It has not been released. So the bill language itself is not out there. The second amendment that went through on the Senate side, that language is out there, but it does not reflect everything in here. So unfortunately, I don't have that answer yet. My understanding of what is happening is they're freezing the golden yield, so they're not going to. It was originally intended to be at the Austin yield, and it would increase every year as values increased in Austin. They're freezing that, so it's not going to increase anymore. And then they took some of that value and moved it over into the regular program allotment. Dr. Kraft, did you have?
Yeah, I can speak to it a little bit. Again, the golden pennies, and Dr. Hasso, Zapata, forgive us because this stuff, this is school finance. We have access to 8 golden pennies. They bring forward a greater yield than copper pennies, and so it's really a result of the funding formulas and tax effort. And Megan, you'll have to help me. The board had the authority or the ability when the legislation was first adopted, implemented, to, I think it was access to 3 or 4. Four golden pennies, which we have since accessed. And then there was the option, I believe, for another penny, which we've also
accessed.
So we have access to 3 additional golden pennies, but the only way to access those golden pennies, which is a greater yield, especially when you look at pennies thereafter, which I can talk about here momentarily. The only way to access those pennies, though, is through what's called a voter-approved tax ratification election, or a VATER. And so what, Karen, back to your question, there was a $55 increase to the basic allotment that was initially proposed. Well, that $55 increase to the basic allotment was to help wash basically the freezing of the Austin yield or the golden penny yield cap. So rather than allowing this value of these pennies for all school districts, not just specific to Northside, grow in perpetuity as a result of property appraised value growing, which they are across the state, it was capped. And thus, that was going to be the offset. I don't know if I explained that any better.
Thank you. I guess somewhere I read where the basic allotment was going to be tied to property value. So if property values went up, then the basic allotment went up, but that's not true.
No.
The basic allotment, you'll see there is no increase to the basic allotment. And the regular program allotment, please don't confuse that with the basic allotment. The basic allotment that was proposed in the original House Bill 2, and I'm sorry I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I believe it was $400 and
It was $395 more.
$395
was the proposal.
That is no longer. In fact, the only thing that's even remotely close is this allotment for basic cost, which again, that's a brand new allotment.
Okay, thank you.
So we talked about the regular program allotment and the money that's spent for the basic education. Then I grouped some of the allotments that have the required spending. We've talked about the required spending pieces in the past. And so I grouped those all together, so we're looking at those all together. The items in green are the new allotments, so that you can focus on those items and see where the funding is coming through. Many of these allotments are calculated based on WADA, the weighted average daily attendance. And so they do calculate based on our student numbers. The new special education evaluation allotment is $1,000 per evaluation is the way that's calculated. I am not sure yet how they will know if it's based on an actual evaluations completed, how we will report that. We don't have any of that information yet. But somehow the models are running the $4.3 million for us. I'm not going to cover the other items because there's not major differences.
Let me pause you real quickly because I think this is important. Again, talking about pulling the curtain back, keep in mind that the state reported that they recognized there was a funding shortfall, or they were underfunding special education services by over $2 billion, which is even more since that report was released 2 years ago. So if you look at all the way over that far right hand column, that is the increase, that 3.24 and the 4.33 for evaluations. That is the increase to special education funding.
So going down the rows, their teacher retention allotment is what they're calling the new allotment for pay increases. I believe, and I think I speak for Tiffany and Jake too, that we believe that that item does also include the $45 for the other staff members that are not administrators. The calculation works out correctly. So the $32 million is not only the $5,000 for teachers with more than 5 years of experience, $2,500 for teachers with 3 to 4 years experience, but also the $45 per ADA that would go for non-administrators and for the teachers below the 3-year threshold. Again, what's not included in that is the cost of the TRS benefit, which is roughly 10%. And so if you look at the very bottom, we've added 2 rows at the very bottom of what the required pay increase would be, which matches that amount, and then the cost of the benefits related to those pay increases. I wanted to put that on here so that you see that that $3.54 million has to come from somewhere. And it's, so we'll just put that over to the side for right now. The next line item is the allotment for basic costs. That's that new ABC set of money that's meant for the fixed cost, which we can use for the TRS cost. They put that in the flyer. So of that 10.62, the 3.54 could be paid out of that amount, leaving about $6 million in there as, I'm going to call it somewhat discretionary. Again, we don't have any bill language, so we're not sure exactly what that can be spent for. We don't know if it can be used for salaries or not. We don't know if it has to be reported for exactly how we're going to spend it. That has not been given to us yet. So we're waiting for the buildings to pass first, then the commissioner will probably come out with regulations on that. So the other items are just part of the formulas. We are happy that the hold harmless did stay. That was a big concern a few months ago. So that did stay. So that's good news, even though it's lower than what we would want it to be. It is still there. So that is positive. So going back and looking at the allotments with required spending, if you remember that required program spending presentation that we did a couple of months ago, there is a possibility that some of these could supplant to be discretionary spending. So there is the possibility, we know we're already overspending our special education allotments. I've done the calculation, and that additional 3.24, we're already spending that much more. So that 3.24 could be used for other purposes. We've got to do the calculations on the others as we do salary costs to make sure that they might be able to be supplanted, but I believe some of them will be able to be supplanted. The one that will not be able to is the early education. That is one that is 100% spending, and so that 4.65, we will need to make sure that we're spending that the way the law says that we will be required to spend it.
Yeah, Trustee Drawn?
So in addition to the administration, is the only group that I don't show, we haven't discussed whether they'd be able to get a pay increase. Is there another group or anyone else that will not also be covered through these changes?
Administrators is the piece. Now, again, if you're giving the pay raise based on the funding provided, it's roughly 1%. General
Yeah,
preference.
and we owe you a compensation recommendation. You know, I feel fairly confident that this is going to be the engrossed, fully passed school finance bill, but I mean, as far as the proposed compensation, you'll be able to see in leading into the next finance and or board meeting, what we're going to be working is to see, okay, well, what are we already, i.e. supplanting special education services general fund with that, again, I hate to use the term supplant, but that's interchange, if you will, that we can possibly free up general fund. But keep in mind, from the last presentation with, and Megan, I'm sorry, you'll have to remind me the number that we're working towards. I mean, we're still very much in a red deficit budget process, probably to the tune of closer to $50 million.
That will be our last slide tonight.
So I'm just, I don't want to overpromise and way underdeliver, and that's just where we are. And as you well know, this year's budget we knew was going to be challenging. I was hopeful that the state would propose a school finance bill that would help us to the tune of $25 or $30 million in offsetting that deficit, but it is very clear at this point that's not going to happen. And we will not be alone in this boat. I just don't know that other districts have had the opportunity to really start digging into what this looks like through implementation. And we feel like this is pretty close.
So before we move to the
We
next,
got
sorry.
Trustee Hurl.
So I had a real quick question. Last reading of the final verbiage for the voucher bill, it did have a piece that alluded to the fact that we're going to have to pay, and so I'm not sure it's the same language for this special education evaluation, but any kind of special education testing and identification of services, the school district would have to incur.
Yeah.
Even if the child was not going, or of course it's a voucher, so they're going either to homeschool or private school, but is that funding supposed to cover that as well?
So we did a little bit of research, and I think I mentioned at our last finance committee meeting, we're already responsible for those evaluations through a program called Child Find. So this hasn't really changed other than, in essence, we're going to be reimbursed for the expenditure, if you will. So that's.
Does that cover the cost though?
Um,
What does that cost?
That's a really good question. That I don't know that anyone has really been able to provide a definitive answer. That's a really good question. I do know this, that obviously at the earlier ages, primary years, that's when we really see a lot more screening, a lot more testing, particularly with dyslexia. As Megan articulated, I believe what has been used for estimation calculation purposes is $1,000 per assessment, but does that cover the full cost? There are a lot of variables depending on, is it outside evaluations? Is it able to be conducted by staff in-house? I mean, so that's a good question. The other piece too is what's kind of also interesting is we're starting to see this overlap of IDEA funding now and state funding, which is it's an interesting relationship that's evolving.
The other question that I just got is, if they haven't been identified, like in an elementary or middle school, are they is there gonna be a line of high schoolers for the first time being asked to be tested by us?
No, I don't. I wouldn't necessarily think that would be what we will. Child Find is set up to try to identify students very early on. I think that where there were, and I don't want to say deficiencies, I think that where there were maybe just some challenges was appropriately screening for dyslexia, and I think that has come a long, long way. But if you kind of look at how students, and we do on a weekly basis, how students are admitted to receiving special education services and or 504 accommodations, which is under the 504 umbrella, we identify most students early on, i.e. primary years, especially as they're trying to learn phonetics and trying to learn to read and write. So I don't think there's going to be necessarily a real influx of secondary students, particularly high school students, that haven't already been identified. That's not usually a real commonplace. So,
Trustee Freeman?
But could parents, on top of what you said, could parents request their child be tested since there is additional voucher money for those students who are identified as special needs? Could parents request that even though the district may not?
parents can make the request now.
And so we would
at
have
any
to-
time.
We would have to test.
Yeah, we have to determine educational need, but yeah, they can make that request now. This is a really, that's what I'm saying, it's kind of interesting. This is a program that is really protected as a result of IDEA, and always has been. So it's just an interesting conversation.
Well, I've been in alternative charter school settings where due to RTI and behavioral issues, they had slipped these very far few top tier students. So that's what I'm wondering, like,
Yeah.
we may see some of that, those requests that are unusual but are potentially possible.
Yeah, and there could be behavioral support. I mean, yeah, absolutely. So I don't want to speak prematurely in the sense of we could see it, but I just, that's not usually the trend.
I'm just wondering, once the word got out though, because it is gonna be publicized, I think sometimes our families don't know that they could now. But once the word got out, it could create problems for our school district.
It could create I'm sorry.
No.
It could create a backlog in just timing, the testing timeline or required timelines that have to be met. That's what I'm more worried about. Typically, though, students are identified either by an educator, sometimes a nurse, a family member, a parent. Early on, a student has some form of a learning disability. That's usually what, like I say, triggers the request for testing and evaluations.
Well, that's true. And I was just thinking though, with speech as part of that, how easy it is to get that
pediatrician,
identification. And then I could go to a private school under the special education priority and get more money for my kiddo being at either a private school or homeschool with that kind of identification. So
Assuming that there are private institutions that are going to accept special education students with IEPs.
that's true.
That's a big assumption. I would not bet on that assumption
We
at
know a
all.
lot, but homeschool. Anyway, all right.
Sorry, I should have asked this before, and you may have covered it. On the membership numbers, the 100,000, if FY '26 projections, current law, let's say it was 100,000 also, how would that impact our total in those state aid? Is it still?
Yeah, so it's based on ADA. Y'all didn't use water, or did you, Megan? Yeah, it's ADA. So there are weights that are applied, but keep in mind what you have to kind of factor in also is do you know what the percentage of attendance rate is? At 94 and a half?
Right.
Jake, around 94.
So we're using a 94% attendance rate. So it's not enrollment. Is that the question?
No, I was trying to figure out where the dollars be close. 'Cause I'm just trying to do a big picture,
Okay.
and be careful how I say it, but from a big picture standpoint, somebody sees it, say, well, yeah, what's expected to drop because you have less students, although I know the reason why, details, et cetera. But if it was equivalent, what would it look like per se then?
That's a great question.
Oh, I see what you're saying. If we were to maintain ADA under fiscal year 25 adopted current law, so 100,000, 324.
Yeah,
what would that funding entail? You're right, because you're right. It's not as glamorous as a result, partly because of a drop in enrollment. But I'll counter, if you do it on per pupil funding, which was really the idea of an increase to the basic allotment, it's still not real glamorous.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's just helps us explain a little further.
We can try to run it
And
through
Yes, and we've talked about running an
100,000.
apples to apples comparison. The concern with that is we would almost want to do it backwards rather than forward, because we wouldn't want you to see the higher numbers and get that in your mind that that's something we might actually get, because we know we're not going to. So we could take the 91,000 ADA and back that into what would that have been in fiscal year 25? You know, do it
Yeah,
backwards,
I'm
planning to show that.
I'm just hopeful that our policy we passed earlier has an impact.
Yes.
And that we do have that increase. The last one, is this, but the real baseline, is this September? Is that when the state actually would take the numbers?
Yes, end of October.
I know October, oh, end of October, okay.
Yeah, PEEM snapshot.
PEEM snapshot, okay.
Right, last Friday in October.
And these are estimates.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah, I
that
understand.
90,173, that may
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
a
I
little
understand.
low. When we saw it, it was, okay. So it may be a little low. It's October 30th,
The last Friday in
31st.
October.
Yeah.
Yes, snapshot, right, last Friday in October. So, and
Okay,
Mr.
page
Blunt,
3.
we also
All
hope
right.
that the open enrollment changes this numbers on the upward end. So again, I want you to remember the bottom line numbers, if, for those in the audience, if you can see them, the 32 million for pay raises, and then the cost of the benefits relating to those pay raises, that 3.54 could come out of the allotment for basic costs. We know that. That's what came out in the flyer that they provided us and the information provided. So if you see the 10.62 allotment for basic cost, take out the 3.54, we know we still have about 7 million up there that we can use for other costs in the district. So that's the biggest piece of discretionary money I see looking at this so far. I want you to remember that dollar amount as we go forward. Next, we're gonna just look at the historic compensation plan. Well, I think we are. It is not moving forward. Monica,
And we all,
can you-
and we all have it too, so we're scrolling along.
It's tired. I don't know if I'm not pointing to the right place. Okay. If y'all can move forward 2 slides. Oh, okay.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, there it is.
Next one.
Okay,
Yep.
that one, that's where I wanted to be. Let's see if it moves forward. So this is our historical compensation plans that goes back for the last 6 years. We wanted to remind the board of what you have adopted in the past. We took this forward to the Leadership Northside group recently, and so we wanted to bring it to you also, just to keep it in your mind. We've also brought it to the Finance Committee, so reminding you that, you know, in the past year, the most recent year, there was a 2% general pay increase that was given, and you can go back in time to see the historical pay raises that have been forward. That's just for information. Okay, now we're gonna go into the information that came to the Finance Committee and review it with the full board. This slide came to the full board previously, so this was the trajectory of our unassigned fund balance and looking at the instructional continuity piece. If we did not make changes to our budget planning, we know we have, but we want to remind you of this. The green area is our instructional continuity committed fund balance. The orange is our unassigned fund balance that is recommended to be 3 months of operating expenditures. So that's why you see the little step up in 23, 24, that as your operating expenses increase, that piece will increase also. So this is a little hard to graph, and Jake has done these graphs for us, so thank you, Jake. That as we do shrink our budget, that amount really should shrink a little bit, but it's a little bit of a chicken and egg of how do you, it's a circle that's gonna keep going. So it's a little hard to keep up with that. So for rounding purposes, we kept it where it is. But again, that red dotted line is what would happen if we did not change our budget planning, but we are, and we're gonna show that in a moment. But the real reason for this is the blue line, to show you what we're wanting to do. As that instructional continuity is used up, which we're expecting it will be for the end of the next fiscal year, where we need to be in that glide path to keep that going. Yep.
And we do
Oh,
have
I'm
two.
sorry, Trustee, yeah, go ahead, Trustee.
We do have 2 new trustees, and it's also good for a review about why it is recommended and who recommends that we keep 3 months of operating expenses in the general fund.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. Yes, so for the new trustees, do not be afraid to ask questions, and I would love to meet with you separately to go through school finance, what I'm gonna call school finance 101. It is not an easy topic. So the more you hear, the more you reflect on it, the it will start to at least not sound like a foreign language after
I
a
guess
while.
that's not what I was saying. Please explain why
Yes.
it's needed.
Yes, ma'am. So Texas Education Agency recommends best practices that we have 3 months of operating expenditures sitting in fund balance. Think of that as a savings account. So fund balance is basically your savings account. 3 months of operating expenditures is recommended so that we don't have cash flow problems. We could be paying out payroll and have to pay out operating expenses other than payroll in months that we're not getting state aid from the state or not getting property tax revenue coming in. So just like you need to have savings accounts for if you had to miss a month of pay, it's the same with us, 3 months of operating expenditures. Does that answer that question, Ms. Freeman? Also, we have something called the FIRST rating, the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. This piece is a part of that rating. That rating, if it goes down, our bond rating is also affected. So there's multiple reasons why we want to keep that fund balance up. This slide is showing the changes that we have made to staffing from the current school year that we're in, getting ready for the next school year. So these are the reductions that have been made with class size ratios is the main change in the teacher area. You can see that we have not changed librarians or nurses. There's a change to counselors based on the ratio there. There have been an increase in instructional assistants based on the reduction of PE teachers. That's an exchange there. You can see there are auxiliary and paraprofessional changes and look across to see which positions those are. We've reduced 21 campus administrators and 38 professional support, which is mostly central office positions. So those are showing the changes to our units, our full-time equivalent staffing that is going into the model for next year. We're still working on this. We are also going through a zero-based budgeting process. Janice is shaking her head because she got to meet with us today. Ray's met with us, Barry's met with us, and so all of the departments are meeting. Jacob has met with us, and so we're going through zero-based budgeting where we're saying, what do you absolutely need? Compare what are the nice-to-haves and the wants, and making informed decisions on that. So that's not reflected here, but we're having those conversations for the budgeting also.
Trustee Hall had a question.
Real quick, on the Learning Tree program, we're not losing anybody, but, right, the black and 49.
That actually means we're adding. So we are adding positions.
Right, but I'm sorry, but that is a funded program with student tuition.
Self-funded.
And, okay.
Yes, ma'am. And so
The
you'll
rest of
see on a
these
future
are-
slide that we have increased the revenue to offset this because they're expecting increased membership, I would call it.
Right.
That will offset that
Oh,
cost.
yeah.
So
But the rest of these are.
the reds are decreases, the black is additions.
Oh,
I should
I'm
have
sorry,
said that.
the rest of the ones on the left, the description, Learning Tree, all the way down to early childhood, from middle school down to early, this is all the north side budget. This is no revenue coming in other than the state or Fed. Learning Tree is the only one where we get money from tuition from students,
I
right?
believe that is correct. I'm looking through it and yes, and Janice says yes.
See, I think what she maybe suggested, if it's, for us to talk to Charlie, it may be good to asterisk or something, just to note that. That way
Yeah.
people sort of know.
The Learning Tree program is in the general fund, so the revenue that comes in is in the general fund.
Right.
So it is part of our general
Okay,
fund is
that
why we're
makes sense.
including that here.
Thanks.
So, yes.
Before we leave that page,
Mhm.
sorry. Also, just to be clear for people that are listening, that we talk about decreased staffing units, but we have not, we need to be clear that we've not done a reduction in force.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am. We have not done a reduction in force and everyone has a job. So we want to make sure we make that clear every time we meet, that no one is losing a job. They will have a job in Northside ISD if they had one this school year and want to have one. It is, the job may have changed, but they do have a comparable job. Yes, ma'am. No reduction in force. The next slide is looking at the first slide that we've looked at in the last board meeting, and we looked at this at the Finance Committee. And so this is just reminding you of our trajectory of our student numbers that you can see from 23, 24 in the orange line, going to the 25, 26, the decrease in student enrollment that we are expecting and have seen for the 24, 25 year. And then the blue line is looking at all staff units. So moving from 12,000, we've talked about the increase to the 13,000 that we had when we moved things into the general fund from ESSER, and then where we are now, based on what you saw in the previous slide, coming down to 12,620 staffing units. So again, we're trending in the right direction. That's our goal, to show you this. With the changes we've made, if we wouldn't have made them, we would still be up at that 13,000. So we're making changes and starting to right size is what the common language has been for this type of work that we've been doing so far. So then we want to look at more numbers for you to show you what this really looks like in dollar amounts. So the top areas are revenue, so the bold items are the totals. So if you look at the current year that we're in, we had a $998 million in revenue, $1,092,000 in expenses, and for a projected result of $94 million deficit. If you remember, we had a couple of months ago, $101 million deficit that we were showing. We have actually come in and found some savings of that $7.5 million that you see above that line item in red. So we are actually reducing our expenditures in the current year based on some of the decisions we made for next year. So already seeing some positive things happening, and we'll continue to monitor that. Down below in that black box is our fund balance, and there's two pieces to that savings account or fund balance. The first one is our instructional continuity that our school board has set aside. It was at $140 million at the beginning of the year, using $94 million of that for the current year. That would allow $45.9 million to roll to the next year. So I'm trying to show how it moves across to the right. And then our beginning unassigned fund balance of $270 million for the year that we're currently in. Moving across, we are expecting a decrease in revenues, and you can see what brought us there. All the items below the $986 million are the changes from the prior year that get us to that $986 million. So we do expect increased property tax collections based on values increasing. And then we have state foundation formula that we looked at just a moment ago, looking at the decreases there. The investment interest, we expect decreases in that based on rates going down. The charge revenue, we've talked about that before, reducing. And we do expect the increased after school, that's the learning tree that we saw the FTEs before, or the unit changes. That's the offsetting revenue for that. Similarly, at the bottom, you can see that we are reducing staffing cost and overtime cost by $36.9 million from the prior year, and contracts and other services of $11.5 million that get us to the $1.4 million. So we're currently projecting the next year budget, fiscal year 26 general fund only budget, to have a deficit of $60 million. So where would that $60 million come from? 45.9 would come out of instructional continuity, that committed fund balance that the board has set aside. The remaining would come from unassigned fund balance, which we don't like. We don't want to do that, but at least that dollar amount's coming down. And I would say that 14.6 million use of unassigned fund balance, some of that will be made up in the legislative session. The $7 million that we saw a few minutes ago on those ABC money, that could possibly help with that piece, because we'd be able to supplant money to reduce that. Now on a flow through, we're not going to go completely to the next line, but what we've identified so far of changes to the 26-27 year, it is important that we're looking at a biennium, because the funding is for a biennium, so we want to look at 2 years at a time. But what I want to point out to you is that instructional continuity is zero. We don't have any of that left going into 26-27 if we don't cut into that $60 million reduction. And we're working on it. We're doing the zero-based budgeting. We are still working on that. Any questions on this before I show it in a graph form?
Bobby, I have a question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Trustee Hall?
Just real quick, so we're hoping that we can generate some revenue through open enrollment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that this is, I don't want to say worst case scenario, but we're taking a very conservative approach with these estimates. As Megan already articulated, we've got to really see the bill language and then unpack the committee substitute House Bill 2, assuming that it's going to pass. I mean, that's the thing that we're still awaiting. Unless the governor signs it, passes the House and the governor signs it, it's just language on paper. So assuming it passes, we're going to again work to see where we can supplant. I think that we'll be close to a balanced budget with the use of the continuity of instruction if the board so chooses to approve that budget. But what that means is that we're just prolonging a deeper dive at looking at reductions, unfortunately. And again, this is the impact of no increase to the basic allotment. And again, I can say applaud the efforts of the teacher compensation piece. I don't really applaud the effort of $500 million to employees outside of that classification of employees. But beyond that, this legislation has really not provided the flexibility nor the funding that districts desperately need, particularly that are already operating in a deficit budget situation. And it's not going to, obviously, for the 2 years, as Megan indicated, with the biennium. There'll be a small increase going into the fiscal year 27 budgeting process, but we're going to have to continue to work pretty hard at looking at savings. The other piece that again, I think we need to keep front and center on the radar is that there's no assumption built into this model, and it's going to be really difficult to build in this assumption as what is the impact of an education savings account, which will be rolled out for, like I say, the 26-27 school year. So yes, open enrollment can help, but then there's this ESA also that to be determined.
Well, and the other thing that this made me think of is how many emails I've gotten, and just lamenting about the waiting list for our Learning Tree program because it's so needed. Is the waiting list because there are not enough Learning Tree employees? You don't have to answer it now. We can find out more later on, or is it because there's one gym being used or whatever? But it seems to be it is a very popular option for parents to have Learning Tree after school, but so many of our schools have waiting lists. And
yeah, we monitor the vacancies on a weekly basis. It's fluctuated between 40 and 50 vacancies throughout the course of the year.
Very high turnover. And what is their hourly? Are they making 15 an hour or?
Is it like
12?
$12.50 an hour. And keep in mind too, they're not full-time employees.
Right.
A lot of college students.
But seasonal.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And again, that's a program. Again, just speaking out loud, many school districts contract those services out.
We did once, right? We used to have that model. We had a mixed model. We did that. Contract out some schools, and it was actually
I'm not
3
making the recommendation. I just
Mr. Blunt?
We had 3 different ones at one time, right? You probably remember better than I do, right? Yep, 3 different ones that used to be across Northside, and then we changed over time.
I believe Ms. Freeman has a question.
Yeah, just a comment that was made in Finance Committee meeting by a trustee concerning the concern was zeroing out the instructional continuity fund, and that so when you do that, that leaves us no cushion in the future for any future legislative sessions where we don't get anything.
Yeah,
and we've been depending upon that fund.
Yeah, we're gonna work hard to not be in that position this fiscal year. We're not done with this fiscal year budget, but like I say, we do owe you a compensation recommendation plan. We're late, and part of it is we're still waiting for committee substitute House Bill 2 or whatever this finally looks like. But again, we have a pretty good idea, or at least I feel like we have a better idea as to where we're going to land. So by the next board meeting, we need to bring that to you so that we can start building it out as an assumption, seeing that it will be June, mid-June. Yeah, I think that also it's important to note There are districts that are, I can tell you that Dallas is tracking along pretty closely as well, and they're going to use fund balance. I mean, they're just going to use it. I wouldn't advise it. I'm not going to recommend doing so, but that's the approach they're taking to balance or come close to balancing, navigating over $100 million deficit budget for next year.
So these scenarios that we have in front of you were everything that had been taken into account since May 16th, 2025. We've added that at the very bottom of the slide. The board had asked that these slides be added to our website, so we're adding a section of our website that will have these. So we're being very purposeful to try to put a little more information at the bottom so that someone who's just looking at it will know a little bit more about it, since they won't have our spoken words with it. So note that date at the bottom, because as we update, we'll have a new date down at the bottom of when the date was. As I said, we had zero-based budgeting meetings today. We had them most of the week last week. We have them going through next week. So we're still working very hard to identify additional reductions that can help with this situation. So this is a slide looking very much like the initial slide, and I wanted to start with that one in the red of what happened if we did not change our budgeting process. And this is showing what we have in place as of May 16th. So you can see that if you go back to that red slide on your devices, you can see that the fiscal year 26 projection has narrowed tremendously inside of that unassigned fund balance. That difference now is that $14.6 million that we showed coming from unassigned on the previous table. And then on the right, far right, the fiscal year 26-27 line is the $65 million that you saw on that previous table also. So the total that we're looking to reduce at this point, or somehow account for, because if additional revenue would mean we don't have to reduce as much. So the net we need to balance and have a balanced budget, not using fund balance, would be $79.6 million. So that is the number we're looking towards right now. So it can be a combination of, if we could reduce more than 15 million additional for next year, that means less that we have to do the next year. In total, we've got to come up with $79.6 million to have a balanced budget going forward. We've gotten over 50 million. So I would say we're doing pretty good. I mean, we've been working really hard on this for the last 3 months, and it's, I think we're doing okay. We've got a long ways to go, but we're okay.
Off the top, can you give us a comparison to like another school district, just so we can compare data, like worst case you've seen?
Oh, I don't have any of that, do you, Dr. Kraft? I could call around to my peers.
I don't know if we want to.
There's really bad too, also, right?
Well, and there's some districts that are June 30th year in, so they will be actually proposing a budget here in the next few weeks. So we will definitely have that. We can have that for you soon, because the June 30th year ends will be proposing.
Relatively speaking, we're in really pretty good shape.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We will be.
Yes. Very good. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So this is our presentation, and if there aren't any other questions, we will continue to work on working to balance this budget. And thank you to the team.
Okay.
Including Julie over there. I didn't mention you, Julie, sorry. Okay.
And so I assume the finance committee is going to continue to meet on a monthly or so basis as we work through this? Or?
We do not have the next finance committee meeting set. We'll need to get that scheduled.
Yeah.
Okay.
We like I say, compensation conversation recommendation will be the next big piece, along with hopefully, like I say, the engrossment of committee substitute House Bill 2. We'll be able to really refine ADA projections, start looking at tax rate calculations, and then just working through the remainder of the zero-based budget. And we're going to work on cutting into the utilization of that continuity of instruction fund balance, because I hate to use it all in the first year of the biennium. It's going to be really difficult, though, this first year to bring forward a pure balanced budget without using, like I say, the designated fund balance.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you for the update. And Trustee Brown will say this. I'm not going to name any school districts, but I will state this, that there are a number. It's causing some very big challenges with school districts and school boards in this particular area. So it's commission, see how it all plays out, but there are a lot more with challenges than don't have challenges. I'll say it that way. A lot.
I can say this with absolute confidence. This will be the greatest challenge districts will be faced with the next 2 years.
Yeah.
It will not be the implementation of ESAs, the implementation of a new assessment accountability system. This will be the greatest challenge the next 2 years. It will be the fiscal nature of managing programs, maintaining programs, and the fidelity quality of the instructional related services. And the teacher pay raise, the $2,500 and $5,000 in regards to retainment and recruitment efforts, we'll see.
Yeah.
I think we'll see.
Okay. All right. No other comments, questions in this area? All right. That takes us over superintendent area.
Yes, sir. So we have several items. If it's okay, I'll just jump down to the future agenda items. Again, we'll have another budget discussion. We will likely have a couple more appointments that we'll need to bring forward in regards to any updated policies. There may be some, as a result of legislative changes that we need to revisit. Likely a legislative overview, because like I say, even though we've been talking a lot about House Bill 2, House Bill 4, House Bill 6, there are other pieces of legislation that are moving through the pipeline. So like I say, assuming that they have adjourned the 89th legislative session, probably be a good opportunity to just very briefly talk about some of the other legislative changes as it pertains to public education. And that's what I have on the working agenda right now for the June 10th called meeting.
Any questions on the request for the future agenda items?
One item that, again, we're working around SLI, the month of June. Karen Aderman has the ability to provide the ISO, which is evaluating and improving student outcomes. It's part of the TASB SLI summer conference, but we can do it in-house, which is also kind of a nice team of 8 training as well. So Karen, like I said, we can schedule that for our new trustees that are looking at workshops with SLI. We'll provide an overview of the new trustee requirements. I think, I'm trying to remember. I know that like Open Meetings Act training and several others are required, so we'll have that to you momentarily. But as you're looking at SLI scheduling, just know we can take care of the ISO and have in the years past. And to my knowledge, that's still going to be a required training every 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So ours would do.
Yeah, and I add on the SLI portion, hopefully everybody's able to attend, because that also, in addition to our new board members, whatever they officially call it, what do they officially call the ones who've been around, experienced board members, whatever they call it, the other board members, I'll say that for now, get that legislative update, is it 2 or 3 hours? 2 or 3 hours?
I think it's a 3 hour.
3 hour one? Yeah, I think that'd be an opportunity to get that one too, if I remember correctly there, and remember that one's hard to catch. So yeah, there's a couple that are gonna be hard to catch that we can catch early on during the summer.
And the service center is working to try to bundle a lot of these trainings as well, so that will be also
Region 20.
an avenue. Region 20. Sorry, did I say 12? Old habits.
New trustee, you'll go to the new trustee training, and then the rest we'll figure out to guide you, because they're in different places right now.
Yeah, we'll have a
work on it.
spreadsheet for you.
Okay. Trustee Freeman?
Yeah, just a comment too. So and I don't know how you all, I know you talked to Monica about registering for SLI. So the ISO training that you may have registered for nobody registered for it?
I didn't register them. I let them know
okay.
we did it in-house.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
good. But the post-ledge training, there's also an extra fee for that, and that's on Saturday morning, I believe. So you would need would be a good opportunity to go get those credits. As new board members, you don't need it, but with all the stuff that happened this legislative session, I think it would certainly be
I sort of say,
helpful if
hopefully
you can-
there is a post-ledge, and we're not.
Okay, we're not
special
in.
session.
All right.
Oops.
But there is an extra fee for that, so then you do have to get with Monica to register. extra for that.
Is it breakfast? Okay. All right, any other? Okay, so the other item we had was the reorganization of Board of Trustees. We also had that listed as for discussion in executive session if the board so chooses. It is an exception that is allowed, and that sort of gives opportunity to discuss what the roles are and some other information. So if the board's okay, we can go in executive session on that part. Right, okay?
We also have
And
some
then-
appointments and a review of school safety audits, if that's okay as well.
And then the next one, the Board of Trustee committee assignments, that actually really sort of wait and see how the officer positions play out, because I think that helps make some people's decisions along that line. We do have a sheet in here, but we'll wait on that one either this evening, or we can do that another time period for everybody to fill out that part of it. Okay? So what we would do, so Board of Trustees, what time is it? Beginning at, thank you, 9:10, we'll convene a closed meeting in accordance with the Texas Government Code Section 55107, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8.2, 8.489 is listed. Discussion to take place on items that were listed in the agenda. Okay, so we're going, for our board members, what we'll do is go into closed session. We got the appointments, talk about the officer stuff, but the dialogue about the actual officer and voting and everything else, we'll come back out in public and do that portion of it, as well as looking at committee assignments. Okay. All right, so the Board of Trustees, beginning at 10:02, will convene back in open meeting. Action can take place on the items listed. Are there any motions to come before the board on the appointments?
Mr. Blunt? Oh, on appointments?
The appointments.
Okay. Well, I can do that too. I'm sorry. I move to approve the appointments as discussed in executive session.
Okay, motion, is there a second? All right, moved in second. Is there any further discussion? All right, moved in second that we approve the appointments that discussed and closed. All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, state nay. All right, motion carries. Okay, so the next item we have, so we got two more items that we're bringing in, is reorganization of the Board of Trustees, the officer positions. And once again, the positions that we would have would be president, vice president, and in the position of secretary. And this will be for a one-year time period. And the process that we use is we would take, well, first, if there's anybody who wants to discuss or identify that they're interested in and would like to have one of these positions, this would be the time to do so. In addition, the process we'd use is we would take the nominations, and we'd take all the nominations for those particular positions, and then we would take a vote as a board, and we would need a majority of 4, so it continues, until we get 4, that position would not be filled. We would do president first, then we'll do vice president, and then we'll do secretary. Okay? So any comments or questions on?
Or nominate Carla for president.
Okay.
I don't know if she'll accept the nomination or not.
No, there's no, yeah. It would
Well,
be up to you. I mean,
accept the
it'd be-
nomination, right?
Yeah.
She would have to accept the nomination, right? I don't know if she wants to do it.
Okay. So let's have were there any, we have the nomination there. And before we take any further nominations, were there any discussions or any comments, questions? Anybody want to, Trustee Freeman?
Yeah, I would say it is helpful for the board president to have gone through some board officer training with TASB before they become president.
Okay.
Or actually any office, but especially president.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, just in general about the process or those being nominated?
And
Okay, no, go ahead.
I also think that we have to look at someone who has attended many of our events outside this particular board meeting. Certainly, one of the jobs as president is to chair the board meeting, but also to be present within our community. And so it helps to attend several events in the school district. And I think we have to look at somebody who's done that, and has been visible within our community. And
Okay.
I don't know if we talk about people in particular, but
What's that in terms of, well, I mean, this is an open session, so you can, before we take the further, if there's any nominations, you can always talk
do
about people.
we take further nomination? Oh,
Or you can talk, no, before we do that, let's just finish the discussion that we're gonna have on the president position.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said, if you want to talk about, before we do any further nominations, we did get the one in. I'd just like to have just a general discussion first, and then we'll just go ahead and start taking all the nominations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that way
well
we
then
don't have to go
I'll
back and
wait
forth.
for that. Thank you. I'll wait until we nominate, because we're not going to vote right now. We're taking all the nominations.
Yeah, we'll take all the nominations
Okay,
first. This is
thank-
just anybody had any general
Okay.
comments first.
All right.
Okay, all right, so we're ready to go ahead and start taking the nominations. We have the one for Trustee Duran. Are there any other nominations for president?
Mr. Blunt?
Yeah.
I nominate Dr. Harrell.
Okay. Okay, any further nominations? Okay, so we have the two nominations. I wasn't sure if either one of y'all had, it's sort of a little bit different. If you want to speak to why you'd want to be president, that may be helpful for everybody, and then we can vote after that. You know, just-
While I haven't been an officer training for Northside, as mentioned, I have been on several boards and have served as chairwoman at the state level, familiar with Robert's Rules of Order. So that's necessarily, it's not a requirement, so thank you for that comment. Other than that, I think that I appreciate your nomination, David. I think that is humbling, and I'm looking forward to serving if I were to be selected. When people can't attend things during the day, it's not because they don't want to. Sometimes it's because we actually work for a living. And so sometimes that requires us to redefine our career choices and align them with the responsibilities that we have. And that's something that I've done so that I can be more present in this role. So I thank you for your consideration and concern, and your words are duly noted. I appreciate that.
Good, okay.
Thank you for the nomination. I guess I was going back to some words that Dr. Kraft shared earlier. I think we're faced with, this is going to be a tough year ahead, at least 1 year. And I'm hoping that part of that, because we have new members and then we have existing members, can be an opportunity to build this team of 8. By reflecting all of our gifts that we bring to the table. So, and the fact that I think you have 2 people who are willing to do it. So that doesn't always happen. So I think that's a good thing. And it would be an honor to serve in any capacity. So thanks.
Okay, good, all right. So what we'll do next is, and then we'll take them in order. So we'll do Dr. Duran first, and then Dr.
Mr. Blunt?
Yeah, go ahead.
So can we also discuss attributes before we vote?
Yeah, I mean, you can always,
Specific
make any comments before we,
Before the
that's-
vote?
Yeah,
So I appreciate, Carl, I appreciate your comment, and I understand that you work and can't attend some events during the day. We do have a lot of evening events, and I will tell you, Carol consistently, Dr. Harrell consistently attends those. I'll just go back just the last couple days, the retiree piece. Carol helped me. I just can't. I mean, we've had so many events in the evenings, and I see Carol there. Dr. Duran, I don't see you often in the evening events, and so I think it's important for our president to be able to be at many events, and I've seen the experience in the past. I also have seen, Carol, this bringing a team together. While I know that you have leadership experience on other boards, Carol has been on this board for longer period of time, and I've seen her build relationships amongst board members and build a team. So that's why that's why I've nominated Dr. Harrell.
Okay. Any other comments?
I would like to respond.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think that those are great comments, but Carl also had to have started at some point without not having any experience. And I think we all deserve the opportunity to be able to exercise our leadership. So Carol didn't come to the Northside Board having been a board president or an officer anywhere, I'm assuming, because you've been here so long, Dr. Harrell, with all due respect, right? And I believe you've also already served as a officer on this board. So those, of course, cannot be discounted, and rightfully so. And so at some point, we all deserve a chance.
Sure. I just
Okay.
think she shows up.
Yeah, let's go back and forth. I think.
Okay.
Let's just make that, yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right, any other? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take, parliamentarian wise, the reason to do is we'll take Dr. Duran first, because it's an order of the nomination. If we have the majority of 4, then that stops it at that point, okay? So all we're doing is looking for majority. If we don't get a majority, if we get 3-3, we just keep going till we get a majority. Okay, so we have to get a 4 tonight out of these positions, okay? So let's go ahead, so let me know all those that are in favor of Dr. Duran, please raise your hand. Let me see, we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. But it's just gonna be, yeah, all you're gonna do is just count, we'll just say we have the majority of 4, because you don't do there's not a comparison, there's not a split.
So I don't need to take the actual count like I normally.
No, as long as we show we had the 4, that's correct. Yeah. Because there's no motion or anything else. So- Okay, good. So congratulations, Dr. Ann, you're the new. Yes, good. We help each other out. You got it.
We'll get you
Ain't no
a
big shoes. You're good. One thing about I always said Northside, we all support each other and it's all equal, so we're good. Okay, so let's go ahead and do Vice President next. Yeah. So let's tell you, are there any nominations for the Vice President role?
Mr. Blunt?
Yeah.
I nominate Dr. Harrell.
Dr. Hurl. Are there any other?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Dr. Sonia Hassel.
Okay. Hold on. VP. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Well, let's go ahead. Let's hear from, if it's okay, let's take them in order again, Dr. and Given. So it starts with Dr. Harrell and Dr. Hassel next, if you want to make any comments.
Well, I'll just say that as vice president, that you'd be the backup person for the president, and that would be an honor to serve one way or the other. So, trying to think anything else that the VP does to support the president. I guess if the president couldn't make things, so
The officer meetings.
officer meetings, yeah, the agenda
So
planning
the
meetings.
Agenda
yeah.
planning, we meet.
We kind of
usually-
talked about that.
Yeah, usually the Thursday prior to the Tuesday. And I say it's an hour. Yeah, it's not and we can do it Zoom. Bobby
Yeah.
zoomed in.
Oh yeah, Zoom. Oh yeah, that's my route.
But that's one of the
That's my route.
additional responsibilities. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3. Yeah. Okay. And Dr. Hassel?
Hi. So I know I'm new to the board, but I definitely am not new to leadership roles. I have been a board president before. I have been in higher ed for over 2 decades and are really focused on making sure that individuals have the ability to have the opportunity to really be able to serve. My schedule, even though, yes, I do have a full-time job, I do have the flexibility to be able to be there, to be at events, and be able to assist the president. So excited if given the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is we'll take them in order again.
Wait, hold on, Mr. Blunt.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Just a reason for nomination.
Yeah.
So I think especially since we have a relatively new board member of 2 years, or I think it's important that we do have somebody experienced as a board officer and in the vice president role to support the president. So I think Dr. Harrell's experience, just like I said before, would be critical for the success of the president, and then building this relatively new team, because we must work as a team.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, so we'll take them in order again. It's always in order of the nomination. So those that be in favor of Dr. Harrell, raise your hand. Okay. And so we have 3, so we continue to the next candidate. Those in favor of Dr. Hassel, raise your hand. 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. So that'll be Dr. Hassel has the 4 majority. Okay. Yeah, congratulations. Welcome. All right, so now we'll go to the board secretary. We'll do the same process. Any other nominations?
Nominate myself, just keep going for 1 more year. Just already finished off Gerald's year. I'm gonna officially nominate myself, I guess.
Okay. You let me finish the sentence, but okay. Yeah, no, I was just,
Sorry.
all right, we have a nominee.
I'm trying to clear my throat.
Secretary. Dr. Saucedo. I know it. So did y'all hear that? I'm sorry. So Dr. Saucedo has,
Not doctor, not the doctor.
oh, damn, I put D, you saw that, right?
Yeah.
And I read it. I said it's a D, that means doctor. I'm sorry. David Saucedo nominated himself, so we have the 1 nomination there. Any other nominations for secretary? Yeah.
I'm going to nominate Dr. Harrell again. I will say, I'm sorry, Carol, I appreciate if you accept the nomination, though. So, Mr. Saucedo, I know that you are deficient in CEC credits. There's been plenty of opportunity to get those CEC credits, I believe, as an officer. It's a position that we all have approved, or you've been on a board that's approved the board operating procedures, which talks about training credits, and you've not done that, and there's been plenty of opportunity, and you're not going to SLI to get them any time in the near future. There was an opportunity to do that online before. So I think we need to reward people that have done what they should be doing. And again, it's an honor to be an officer. So that's why I would nominate Dr. Harrell.
Yeah, I've completed all my hours, and they're all. I did it before the deadline.
I'm sorry. I thought the last board meeting that we talked
Yeah,
about.
but I had till the 30th. I had 2 more hours to do it. They're complete. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, so we'll do the same process. We'll, since David Saucedo was nominated first, all those that would be in favor of David Saucedo, Trustee Saucedo being board secretary, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that gives us a majority needed. So David, Trustee, you continue as a board secretary. Okay. Good. Well, thank you all. So we have our new board officers now. Remember, y'all have to stay a little bit later to sign the paperwork in the back. Don't put yourself up. We're not done yet. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a late night. No, the only other thing we had was the board committees, because remember, we wanted to wait and see the officers. So just to talk it through a little bit, and what we could do is if you could it's okay to use Monica again? I'm sorry. I have to always ask
I think so.
Send it to
So typically the board president announces the committee assignments.
Well,
go ahead.
Or they just sign up. Everybody signs up first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, we
So
you
you
choose.
have a
Yeah.
form in your folder, and under the
Yeah.
policy, academics, etc., you can write all the ones you're interested in.
Yeah.
And then you can turn that into me. I'll compile one big list.
Right.
I'll hand it over to Bobby, and we'll work
Carla. We'll hand it over.
Carla.
Carla.
Yeah. man.
Under a few minutes, so. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll have them to Carla,
Right.
work on the chair, but the other ones like
Yeah, those are, yeah, so what happened if it's okay, Carlos, what I'm gonna suggest, if this is okay, is, if everybody can identify at least, suggest at least two, with the exception of maybe the board president, and that's up to you, but typically, a lot of times the board president, because other duties don't necessarily sign up for the two, but it sometimes can be helpful. But sign up for at least two, and you can sign up for more than that, and again, get that over, and then what happened at the next meeting, and like Dr. Kraft was stating, is we actually bring it before the full board, okay? The board president, if we get to the board president early, the board president is the one to identify who's gonna chair. So that's the one that the board president comes into. It'd be good for the board president to have that information prior to the next meeting. That way you have the chair and the committee identified. And then you'll see extra positions on, there's I did have it right. Remember I was telling you, I couldn't remember if it was 5 or 6. There are 5 committees to choose from. Those other positions, we just sort of appoint as a board during the board meeting. Like the NEF rep, at the next meeting, we'll actually discuss that.
Can they put a little star or something to say they want to chair a certain committee? Is that something
Oh, that'd be
that
good,
they
yeah,
can
yeah.
Let us know if
Yeah,
that
yeah, it'd be good.
they're interested in chairing a committee also.
Yeah. Okay, and then and then Dr. Duran will work with, Dr. Duran will
Yes,
work
he did.
with Monica prior to the next meeting on everything, okay? So that's how it'll work on the board committee side. Okay?
While y'all are working on that,
Yeah,
just
sorry.
real quickly, academics, academics
Oh, yeah.
usually are
Talk to that.
usually in the afternoon, 4:00, 4:30, 2, maybe 3 hours.
Mhm.
They're not.
Monthly, or 6 weeks.
We'll look at a lot of test score data. We'll look at curriculum adoption materials, STEM courses, what we just did, calendars, academic calendar, professional development calendar. So that's kind of what we do in academics. Building committee, here recently, they haven't been too long, but they're gonna
Oh.
pick back up. Building committees can be 2 to 3 hours.
My bad, I told him that, I said,
Yeah,
okay,
I
good,
mean,
it's shorter.
It just
I
depends
think
on how much.
Normally
work,
3, normally 3.
Probably, yeah.
Well, I was thinking, because of, if you don't have flexibility of time, in your chairing a committee, do you have to abide by that 9 o'clock rule?
No.
Like academics
No.
is always in, because,
Yeah, so the way we set the times up is usually who chairs the committee.
yeah,
And just who can,
so.
no,
I was
we can
leading
meet,
up to,
we
okay,
can meet in
so-
the evenings, we can meet in the early mornings. No, at building, I'm trying to remember even why, I don't even remember why we,
Morning?
well, I think it was because, well, and it was because of the length.
Yeah, and the contractors too.
Yeah.
Their time frame was
It
better at those
they were-
times.
they were 3 hours. Policy, David has chaired policy. That's usually gonna be TASB, local legal policy updates. If there's a dress code, if there's open enrollment, which we just tackled, those would be the items that would come before policy
You
and
did
or
yours already?
intergovernmental relations. It'll start getting lighter on the legislative front, I think, assuming that we don't
You
do
did
a
yours?
special session. Technology is probably one of the lighter committees. We'll look at one-to-one technology, we'll look at different types of applications and solutions. I'm just trying to think what's on the horizon. Acceptable use policy. We'll probably be looking at another, this could go policy as well, but cell phones, personal use of devices going in backpacks at the high school level. So that kind of gives you an idea of technology. And then the TASB Board of Directors, I know y'all are gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
in
the next
meeting.
one.
We can kind of talk through
Yeah.
that. It's just what it is. It's being the north side representative to that board of directors, which is pretty important. And then NEF is our education foundation, which we typically are, in the past we've had 2. And then PTA is new, working with the PTA council.
Yeah, I would highly suggest that one of your choices be either academic or finance. Those really give you the foundation. The second one, so be it, but I'd at least choose one of those early on. They're very helpful. Okay? Anything else then on board committees?
So Carla, we'll have these back to you. Okay.
Yeah, we're already doing them, so.
Okay, all right. Okay, and then we'll convene before the 10th.
Okay, so I'm just checking, make sure we did everything. All right. So unless there's anything else, so the Board of Trustees, I think we covered everything.
No, we haven't talked about the TASB board or?
Oh, no, we're gonna do that next time.
Oh, okay,
Because that way everybody can sort of see,
okay,
everything sort of flows.
okay.
I can just remind y'all, you have your possible dates for the retreat. It's not a retreat, but if you can make sure I get those very soon as well.
Yeah, she has it.
Right?
These are retreat dates.
She has it, right?
I thought we did that.
I thought
You-
it's the one that.
Monica, you've got it. You had it
Yeah.
on your
We already
computer.
did it.
Yeah,
Monica has it.
everybody did it.
Yeah, we
Oh,
already
that
did
one
it.
big one is, okay.
There's two of them.
Monica, I did give it to you, didn't I? Did I?
We got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We got it.
I thought we did that.
Okay.
Still missing committee
I don't know.
sheets from that end of the room.
If y'all want to do them.
Yeah, we're.
Let
I
us-
just got those.
Let us look at that.
He was explaining everything.
I know.
And then we've got the graduation was in there as well. We'll have regalia, so Karen, I apologize.
Or I can
Yes,
just,
we'll have regalia.
you can
I can just go for
Uh,
it.
We'll have it there at the
Pick
sports
up- You
gym.
can pick up in the boardroom, right?
We'll have it at the sports gym.
Oh, at this.
Yeah, we'll be good to go. Well, I'm hoping we have yours prepared.
They did it that same
Oh,
week,
okay,
and I used
good.
it for my work graduation.
Great,
so
okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
A little dirty, but.
Okay.
No, no.
If you can be there about 30 minutes before, 15, 20 minutes before, that'd be great.
So tomorrow here at 6.
6:30 here tomorrow for Nellie Reddick's, but that's not regalia.
We don't change.
No.
No,
That's
it won't be in the back. We sit and we watch that one.
It's a
Yeah.
celebration.
I'm sorry. Trustee Free?
one of the things Dr. Hasso just asked me a question, and I think, so in the past, what we have done is the chair of the committee, whoever becomes chair, talks to those that have signed up for that specific
Right.
committee and attempts
Yeah.
to schedule it when most of the people who have signed up
Yep.
can make it. But anybody could come to a meeting because they all posted. So if you, it's important because I know that I had a committee and I had asked about who could sign up.
Thanks.
And so it's a toss up. Sometimes you can't schedule it when everybody can go, but you do when most people can go. So if you're interested in being on the committee, that would be good. And hopefully you would go to, the point is to go to the committee to get signed up.
And right now with the budgeting and finance is very important.
The finance one is going to be vitally important, and academics is going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
important as well.
Yeah.
House Bill 4 just passed the Senate, so it's going back over to the House with the conference committee. So they're trying to fulfill their promise of revamping Star.
Like Friday.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and just to say for the record, because I point out too, all of our committees are very important, but these were just suggested. All right. Yeah, make sure that's on the record.
We'll have
Thank
some
you.
policy updates with the legislative session, but we just went through the last TASB update, so I think we're in good shape on that front right now.
Okay. So the Board of Trustees at 10:30 p.m. with end of this meeting. So thank you all.